Hi there, good evening. Welcome to the MODUS Super Series, where there are 3 places left up for grabs at finals night on Saturday, and it will be revealed which 3 identities take them by the end of tonight. Group B, 5 players battling it out, and here is what happened on the opening nights. Mike Gillett had a night to forget. The Welshman went winless and will need much more of this to dig himself out of trouble tonight. Scott Marsh only managed 1 victory himself. The Martian may need performances out of this world if he is to make finals night. Tommy Morris in P3 is his target. The gun lost his first 2 matches before really finding his form with some killer shooting in the second half of last night. Andy Bolton is on course for another Saturday Night Live show. The X Factor racked up 3 wins from 4 matches. But nobody could stop the immovable tower that is Dom Taylor. He won all of his games in a session for the 2nd time this week and looks certain to make Saturday. Yeah, it's looking pretty stress-free for Dom Taylor. Paul, that wasn't the feeling in this venue this afternoon, was it?
Not at all. I think we're all pretty stressed. I fear to think how the players felt, especially Scott Mitchell, who had left the venue before he even knew if he was in Saturday night. And he did his job in game number 13. He got his win. After that, he splits and he waits for a phone call after that. And it was a good phone call because he's in Saturday night.
Yeah, 2 things had to happen. Anton Östlund had to lose, he did. Then Adam Mould had to lose to Nathan Treadgold. He'd lost a remarkable run of matches. It was a 21-game losing streak, but he manages to end that streak and in doing so knock out Mould.
It just goes to show, doesn't it, because that meant something to him. He wanted to go back to his home saying that I won my last game, I've left on a good note, but that is going to be a game that Adam Mould is going to regret for a while. He had that game in the palm of his hands. He wasn't able to finish it off. And unfortunately, the first champion of the year is not going to be here on Saturday this time.
Right, if you are watching Scott Mitchell, a colleague of ours, pinch yourself at this next little item, because we're going to show you the group brackets for this week, and you will see yourself as runner-up, and I'm pretty sure, Paul, that he doesn't even know how he ended up there.
I don't know how he's made it. I don't know how he thinks about it. But obviously, now that he's there, we've got to think of him as a contender. Victor Tingstrom's there. Jamie Kelling was so good the last couple of days. He made Group C his own. I've never seen him play so comfortably and confidently, and it was tremendous to watch. And I just get the feeling that Jamie Kelling, coming into the week, went under the radar. I refuse for that to happen tomorrow. He was definitely a contender now. Yeah,
well, if we look at the table from Group C, which was complete this afternoon, I mean, it was kind of easy in a way for him, and the fact we had all that drama, 2 points separating the players from 2nd to 5th, kind of means that he's gone through dominating the group almost unnoticed.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say because the drama's behind him, isn't it? But if you look at some of his performances, he made them look easy, but I assure you there was a lot of hard work going into those performances, and he was doing right what other people were doing wrong. He was making some of the performances look easy, but he was just scoring really well, getting great starts on both days, starting on the right foot, and didn't show a great deal of negativity either. I think there was only 1 game out of his 10 where he showed some exasperation, and that was at the end of Thursday when he'd already got 8 points. So he did everything right, and I'm really pleased for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Pleased for Jamie. The question of whether or not Mitchell can do a Mason, we'll save that to ask Chris Mason at some point in the evening. But let's move on to this group, because there are still 3 places up for grabs. And, well, 1 player kind of did what Kelling did in Group C last night. Dom Taylor, very special, wasn't he?
Just a bit. You think about the level of play, some of the things he was doing right. He's not scoring a great deal of 1-8. He's not having to. His overall consistency is like not many other people have done here in the last 14 months under this roof. Only maybe Darryl Pilgrim and a couple of others have even been at this level before, but ever since he lost a couple of games on Monday, he seems to have found a new level. And he felt maybe a tiny bit aggrieved that he didn't win Group A, but my my word, his response yesterday, when he spoke to Europe here, it was one of, okay, dust yourself off, come back and do it. And boy, did he do that yesterday. He was just as good as any point this week.
He didn't actually come up here, by the way. He was just leaning over that little barrier there, Dom Taylor. And he's towering up the table as well. It's one of those uniform-looking Group Bs, 8-6-4-2-0. The man on zero, Mike Gillett, he really is going to have to probably win all of his games tonight. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. It has been done before by numerous players, so it'll be interesting to see if he can do what Danny Smith did a couple of weeks ago in getting a really good start on a Friday night after losing all games on the Thursday. But it must be good from the start, it must be sustained, and results are going to have to go his way. I think if Gillett is to get through, he needs somebody at the top to really shoot forward. He could probably do with Dom Taylor dominating the group tonight, apart from the game against him, of course.
Right, let's see what the bookies think this evening. This is the outright betting. Taylor now a very short favourite. They were favouring Andy Bolton, not only for the group, but also in their fixture last night. But they kind of now have to go with Taylor. But interesting to see big prices for the other three. Of course, it's difficult to win the group. They think that Tommy Morris will probably get that third spot.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that the bookies have got that one pretty much spot on. But if Tommy Morris brings an extra few percent tonight, he could vault his way up the table. We know that Andy was excellent yesterday, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of energy levels he brings tonight. I hope his right shoulder's okay. That looked a little bit sore yesterday. It'll be interesting to see whether that's the case. But I am going to back the odds compilers there. I do think they've got it right at the minute. I think the top three will qualify with the information that we have right now. But it'll be interesting to see if somebody upsets the apple cart.
And the punters have been getting it right this week as well. The bet builder has landed 4 out of 6 sessions so far this week. How are we going to get a fifth one here, Paul? Talk us through that.
Well, highest checkout for Taylor. I like that one at 4-7 against Marsh because he's got a string of big checkouts this week, so that one looks pretty tasty. As far as handicap betting for Taylor versus Morris, that one's a bit of 50-50. That could be closer than people think. And as for Morris against Bolton, player 180s, Bolton just to score 180, I think the price for that accumulator is very fair.
Well, there we go. And if you do have a bet, of course, gamble responsibly. It's 18 plus as always, and begambleaware.org is where you can find all the information about safe gambling. Right, Paul, I'll let you head downstairs to join Chris Mason, who's in commentary tonight. The first match does feature Mike Gillett looking for his first win and the X Factor, Andy Bolton.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you, Paul. Good evening, everybody. Well, if we could have timed it any better, we'd have done it how we've just done it, because Luke Humphries has just beaten Gary Anderson 16-14 in an absolute thriller and joins James Wade, who just edged out Josh Rock a little earlier in the semi-finals. And now we've got the conclusion here of Group B. Satisfactory session last night for this man, who won 3 out of his 4 matches. Only defeated the once. That, of course, was by the man on top, Dom Taylor, who had
first leg, Andy to through
perfect night.
Game
referee, Paul Hinks, will referee this session, and it's imperative that Mike Gillett gets off to a winning start. He really was slow out of the blocks. This was the final
96
match of the session last night, and he was just, I think he was just beat down by the time this game came around. Andy, a 4-2 winner with a very tidy 93-41. Great on the doubles. 4 out of 7. Mike Gillett averaged 84-67. Now, he did get better in his middle matches, but still came out pointless.
140.
That's an encouraging start, Paul Nicholson.
Yes, it is. And I think when you consider how many games and evenings
83.
and afternoons you've seen Mike Gillett play, when you spot that pattern of having a slow start, and make no mistake, he did watch his matches back today, so he's very aware of what we think. Maybe it's something that he can work on now.
Yeah, it's just the tempo of the throw. I think maybe it's a nerves thing and he just takes time to settle, but it's not until he
58.
settles does he
Andy
start to
O'Carroll,
get a real nice bit of
131.
tempo, and then he begins to start to play with a bit of freedom. But this man, well, you can set your watch by him.
What time would he be?
About 91.
So
57.
12:51. 91. Gonna go for 3:53 in a minute. 74.
80. Andy O'Carroll, 74.
Invented a new time zone, Nico.
Bolton time. Double top for Andy.
Game shot on the
Oh,
first
yeah.
leg. Andy Bolton.
He's looking good. And if he qualifies for Saturday night is looking good. We've already got
Second leg,
Mitchell
Mike,
there.
through first.
Can't have a
Game
Saturday
on.
night without X Factor, can you?
No. Let's face facts. I did say on the balcony that it looked yesterday as if Andy's shoulder was sore. Well, probably one of those players who
140.
played sore for about 10 years. But his rate in making Saturdays is perfect. In qualifying weeks, I might add. That doesn't include Champions
100.
weeks, of which he has qualified for one so far. When he gets to Saturday nights, he
55.
does play 4 matches. 2 finals and a win. But something different about this week. No Sebastian Białecki here.
Oh, nobody to spoil the party. He's been very determined all week, and
60.
he was expected to do the business in Group A's. He had to come back. That went to Victor Tingstrom, who's enjoying a well-earned
83.
couple of days off after a frenetic Group A, wasn't it? Did go back and forth, unlike Group C that was dominated from the beer bang by
100.
Jamie Kelling.
Could we go back to around about 1 or 2 p.m. yesterday when we made a prediction of how many players from Group A would actually qualify for Saturday? There are already 2 there, in
Yep.
Tingstrom and Mitchell. And I can't envisage
79.
Dom Taylor and Andy Bolton not qualifying tonight. So
Yes, there's
that would
our
make
4.
4.
Which is we expected. We get such a big sample of where their game is. That's all well and good
99.
for
Mike
our
O'Carroll,
predictions in the
144.
group phase. Of course, when you get to a Saturday night, you might as well just tear all of that up, because it's as close as we get to knockout darts until we reach the semi-finals, where it is knockout
78.
darts, and
Andy
all the
O'Carroll,
players
142.
approach it slightly different. Some people relish the opportunity to play in these round robins. Others just don't enjoy them.
102. Mike O'Carroll, 66.
I think it's fair to say that Andy Bolton enjoys round robin darts. He's been one of the success stories of this year.
Well, credit to him. He's no spring chicken, but he's certainly match fit. Certainly looks better on the Friday
46.
than I did in my
Andy O'Carroll,
campaign.
40.
He might not be a spring chicken, but a fairly good autumn and winter chicken.
Looks well, sharp as a tack.
Game shot on the second
Playing well
leg.
too.
Andy Bolton.
Very much like a spring, autumn, or winter chicken. He's very well seasoned.
He certainly is.
Third leg, Andy to
And
throw
guess what?
first.
He's
Game
averaging
on.
93, 94, which, like I said, can just set your clock by him.
Good segue, because we've done our numbers. His Thursday average was 90.77, typically Andy, and his weekly average, 91.13.
100.
He is like clockwork, this guy, like Chris says. And there was a lot of chatter this morning and indeed into the early hours of last night,
140.
where Dom Taylor took all of the plaudits. We'll get onto his numbers in great detail when he plays against Scott Marsh in Game 2, but please don't forget about Andy. He was 56%
137.
in his doubles yesterday. 56. Doesn't get a great deal of maximums. He's only got 15 for the week.
140.
That's not a lot. But what he lacks in huge performances on a consistent basis, he makes up for in brilliant
100.
ways of winning and still providing very decent numbers.
He played 25 legs of darts last night. So a ratio of 57% is
100. And your car 164.
He played 25 legs, had 25 attempts at double.
we love that.
Who doesn't love a bit of symmetry?
100. Michael Carr 121.
One thing we didn't get yesterday was a 4-0 victory in Group B. To stop that, Gilly needs the bull.
Game shot on the third leg.
Wonderfully
Mike
done.
Gillett.
That's his biggest finish of the group so far. And that just clings on to Bolton instead of him
Fourth leg
getting that
Mike to
3-0
throw
lead.
first.
Yeah, useful break of
Game
throw,
on.
and can't ignore the numbers here from Mike Gillett. Yes, he's only had 2 darts at a double, but his average is 98.79. Last night, his opening
100.
match average was 77.
I wonder what he's done to change things then to get this better start.
140.
Maybe thought about starting his prep earlier. Maybe playing some warm-up matches to sort of get that mindset and the
85.
rhythm right.
You just see Mike taking his darts out the board there. How he does it with his right hand.
100.
Right, he's taking them out with the left.
Yeah.
Lefties on the whole take them out with their right hand.
55.
There you go.
Although, can you remember when William O'Connor was playing down in Butlins and someone grabbed his thumb on the walk-on, didn't they? And he was having to take them out with his throwing
140.
hand because he couldn't grip the dart.
Well, whoever did that,
Yeah, we know.
well,
It is past 10 o'clock. Go for it, Nico.
stick them in a padded room with Willie O'Connor and see who comes out.
180.
He's about as hard
And
as a
your car
coffin nail.
121.
You'd hit him with a tank and he'd say, "You what?"
53. Michael Carr 81.
Game is starting to resemble some of the stuff we saw in Group C earlier today. All of a sudden, from the cusp of 3-0 up, Gillett is saying, "Nope, I would like another bull."
Game
And
shot on the
gets one.
fourth leg. Mike Gillett.
Wow, what a leg from Gillett. What a match. This is warming up to acknowledged. A nod of,
Fifth
yeah,
leg
that
Andy
was
to throw
good
first. Game
from
on.
Andy Bolton. I love to see that.
Yeah, that's a mark of respect, that saying, "Yeah, that was very tasty." Bit like when you get a new packet of crisps, you open them up and you think, "I don't know how these taste," and then you realise, not
100.
bad.
Yeah, but you get your crisps from Marks and Spencer's.
No, Fortnum and Mason, I'll have you. Come on,
96.
not Ted Everts. I don't get my condiments from Fortnum and Mason, which he does.
Oh, you kill me.
96.
When I said not at all bad there, I was going all the way back to a very famous Welsh person, which is a nice segue because Mike is Welsh, of course.
140.
I wonder if he's ever done an impression of Spike from Notting Hill. Not bad, not at all bad. Well chosen briefs. Chicks love grey.
83.
What a character.
Oh, I've got some fairly plain trousers. Very,
79.
very standardized, aren't they? Simple shoes, proper dart shirts, black trousers.
Yeah, a lot of people just tend to follow the
100.
norm, don't they? They just want to. They don't want to have this images, you know, wearing the really bright stuff. They want to be quintessentially them. That's perfectly okay.
So this
130.
He is on a charge.
And your car 122.
maintaining the 100-plus average. Is looking to break the bolt and throw, lead 3-2, and throw for the match, unless he can find the ball. Oh, anything you
Game
can
shot
do,
of the
Sam.
fifth leg. Andy Bolton.
I can do better.
We haven't seen this many hot spots since Strike It Lucky.
Six leg Mike to through first. Game on.
This is like a Texas cook-off for barbecue sauce in the middle of the board. Is that 3 in a row?
A proper game of darts.
Isn't it just?
81.
What a start to the night. Coming up next, as Paul mentioned, got Marsh against Dom Taylor.
Not even finished, and I'm saying to those guys, follow this.
$140.
And Mike's numbers yesterday, somewhat inflated by better play in the second half by the Welshman. 88.03 and 33% on the doubles. There are many, many groups
57.
Yeah,
where
but
you will see that winning the group.
Yeah, and that was after a disastrous start, as I mentioned, 77 average in his opening match. So it showed you how well he played post his first game.
He didn't even get any points.
96.
I will pay homage to everybody who played last night because they were 40% on the doubles as a collective.
Yeah, combined.
140.
The running average for the night wasn't too shabby.
Not at all. We will get on to Dom Taylor in the next game because if there was an emoji that
41.
would describe his numbers from yesterday, it would probably involve some sort of saliva going down the right side of your lip.
$137.
Lovely darts from Gilly. 86 after 12. And Bolton is desperate to get this done quickly because he understands the threat that Gillett is posing him right
100.
now.
Mario Kart 86.
Are we going to get another bullseye? We're looking for 4 in a row.
Every chance if he doesn't hit the 55. Guide.
54.
We might still get
And
4
your
in a row.
car
Yeah.
124.
Well, to better the 1-2-2 to lead 3-2 on the ball. Level 18.
56.
Are we going to
Mario
have
Kart
ourselves
32.
a level game and a one-leg shootout?
Even at this early stage, you've got to say it. Gillett must hit. If he doesn't, he's running the risk of not making Saturday.
Game shot on the sixth
But he
leg.
does
Mike
hit.
Gillett.
Well, I think the ideal scenario for Mike Gillett
Seventh and final
will
leg.
be
Andy to through
to
first.
do a Dom
Game
Taylor
on.
and be perfect. Unfortunately for him, he'll be playing Dom Taylor.
Yeah, I think what Mike needs is to win this leg. Then he needs Taylor to go
60.
bananas against the people he plays that aren't called Mike Gillett.
Yep.
Then he could use a little bit of assistance elsewhere. He has been backed into a corner. He is very much still in the fight, but
57.
his games have all got to go his way. And his leg difference is not healthy. It's -10. And the best he can do is -9 with 3 games to go.
99.
Chatting with Mike a little bit earlier tonight, he was confirming to us that the symbols on his shirt are something to do with mathematics.
40.
But after 6 darts here, he is a dart behind. Bolton can't leave a finish from his position, but he can put real distance between himself and his opponent with 2 trebles.
100.
1 will do for now.
Yeah, it's still 162 points of daylight. Clever.
45.
Just can't find a treble. visits of 57, 40, and 45. Been his undoing in the deciding leg.
And this is bad news for Mike as well.
140.
No 180s in this game, but a lot of tons.
Wow.
99.
Has
Andy
bossed
O'Carr,
that column
102.
like
He's
nobody has this week.
And it's the troublous visits that have been punished with tons.
Is there one more?
86.
Didn't have to hit that. Obviously, it would have been nice had he done so.
Fully aware that he'll be coming
43.
back with 3
Andy
in
O'Carr,
hand
16.
to join Dom Taylor on 8 points.
Game, shot,
He
and the
does
match.
go
Andy
to
Bolton.
10 points. Sorry, to 8 points. I do beg your pardon. I'm getting ahead of myself. Mike Gillett played so much better at the start of Friday night than Thursday. But unfortunately, Andy Bolton was up for the task. And having the darts, he was better in the last leg shootout. You can see that his 97.26 average was good enough. And again on the doubles, he was absolutely supreme. Mike Gillett with 92.5, not good enough on this occasion. His qualification is very much hanging in the balance. He may have to be dominant in every game he's got left. Speaking of dominant, Dominic Taylor is coming after the break, and he's up against Scott Marsh.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where Andy Bolton got over the line in the first match of Friday night, beating Mike Gillett 4-3. Gillett still yet to pick up a win in this group and seemingly sinking in the quicksand. Well, next up, it's Dom Taylor, a man who's been playing delightful darts so far this week, an average of 99.5 in winning all 4 of his games last night, a checkout percentage of 57%. He's about to take on Scott Marsh. Now, Taylor might be playing the Martian, but it's his darts that have been out of this world.
How good was he last night then?
How good was he this week?
How good will he be tonight? 3 very good questions, 2 of which we have the answer to. As for question 3, you'll have to stay with us the next few hours to find out just how good this tall lad from Bristol will be here this evening. We fancy he's only 1 win away from qualification for Saturday night in his quest for his first weekly title. But the 41-year-old from Orpington, just outside of southeast London towards Kent.
One of your favourite nicknames, Marshy? Like Chisdy? Like Mouldy?
Wouldn't get this guy calling himself Dummy or Tailory.
First leg, Scots are through first.
No, he is
Game on.
very much the tower, and he is at the top of the tower in every aspect. When you break down his day-by-day stats, his session statistics, and more
96.
impressively, Paul, is his numbers for the entire week.
Absolutely. If we focus on what he did yesterday first, he had the highest average of last night's session of 107.1.
60.
He had the highest finish of the night of 157. He had the highest running average of 99.5. Yes, you heard that right. 99.5 for the night. And that's following on from
58.
averaging just a shade over 100 on Wednesday. He was doing almost everything better than anybody else. Had this been another sport, he would be in a different league.
On his own.
But because he played 4 games,
100.
the best he could do was winning 8 points, and he did that.
Yeah.
But for the week, I mean, we've talked about Pilgrim in week 2 of Series 5. And what is it about week 2? This is week 2, Series 6, and Dom Taylor's
85.
doing stuff very much akin to what Pilgrim did a few months ago. Maybe not setting average records of 1-game records like 122 and 118, but there's time yet.
At a 109.
180.
What's impressed me is the maturity he's shown. He would be well within his right with his lack of experience of darts at this level to
92.
really
Dominic
feel the pressure
161.
and almost feel the pressure of expectation.
And there is expectation. Every time he gets to the Oki now, I expect him to average around 100.
That's what he does.
It's 95.61 for the week.
170.
And he's played 19 games. A lot of darts.
A lot of legs. And it's a big enough
96.
sample to
Dominic 83.
be comparable, isn't it, with what's going on in the next level of darts up from this, which you'd have to say would be Challenge Tour.
Bullseye.
58.
Shocked to see a
Dominic
bullseye missed.
74.
Already seen 3 hits on it tonight. Marsh can steal a march if he takes... Well, stops me mid-sentence because for a minute we thought it was going to be a single, a double top.
54.
Gets the treble and misses double
Dominic
10, so
25.
Dom Taylor can get a break with 25 more. Double 12.
Game shot on the first leg. Dom
There
Taylor.
it is. Opening break. 17 darts. Expect him to go through the gears.
Second leg,
from this
Dom to through
moment.
first.
Yeah,
Game
to
on.
put it into perspective, top of the Challenge Tour is Darryl Pilgrim. 91.17 is his 3-dart average during that campaign.
56.
You compare it to the elite of the elite, and over a big sample size.
And 95.61 is the exact number. Where would that place him in the Players' Championship average list? And you can
100.
discount Matthew Dennett, by the way. He only played 1 game on that list.
Yeah. Well, he would be one place behind Dave Chisnell, who, if you remove Matt Dennant, because he played one game and had a losing average of 103.44, Gary Anderson's 99.43, Ryan Searle 95.47, Dave Chisnell above that 95.9. So that's the kind of level
57.
of play he is he's mixing in.
What number in the list would that put him at?
14. No, 15.
Top 16 style
98.
darts is what we've seen this week from Dom Taylor. And people should take note of this. This was not on a floor. This was on a stage as well.
Under the lights.
And that really does make a difference.
58.
Just wonder if Scott Marsh has got enough in the locker at the minute to worry someone who is maybe at the peak of their powers. That first start this week has been nothing short of 3 Michelin starred.
It's just so often been there,
80.
plumb in the middle.
How many times have we seen people leave 127 this week?
That and 106.
40. WK
Insane regularity.
127.
Paul Higgs even gave us a little look into the camera there, which means, Dom, you've got to hit this now. You've got to hit it. Oh, well. Maybe later. Maybe later.
46.
Not being pushed at the minute. All he's got to do is rack up the points tonight, and then
45.
he needs to find that
WK
extra gear
81.
tomorrow. We know it's there.
Yeah, he just wants to also be conscious of leaving a little in reserve. You running repairs there.
He did trouble a stem in a previous visit. He may have disrupted the stem ring or indeed one of the prongs at the top of the stem. To make sure that flight stays in there through the process.
Getting shot on the
And he
second
got everything
leg.
right
Dom
there.
Taylor.
2-0 to Dom Taylor. Just cantering along while
Third
Scott
leg
Marsh
Scott through
watches
first.
on.
Game on.
Scott averaged 85.66 yesterday and had 27% on doubles. That was the lowest percentage of anybody tonight, but it's fair to say that Marsh is just starting
45.
his way back at the minute. After winning the British Open in 2021, he went to Lakeside. And I think after that Lakeside, he just started to just take his foot off the pedal from darts for a little while, just to figure out where he wanted to go with it.
He's in
60.
Lakeside next month, isn't he?
I believe he is. Why do I feel like he's playing
26.
Sebastian Białowski? He is.
Yeah, I was going to say probably because he is. That was obviously absorbed in your brain somewhere.
56.
I know why I remembered that, because whoever wins that game between Białowski and Marsh plays Andy Bartons. Ouch.
Nice draw.
95.
Who's your pick to win Lakeside?
$60.
Let me have another look, Nico. There was a firm favourite in my mind, and I can't remember who it is.
You know who my pick is?
Go on.
He's playing here next week. Leonard Gates.
81.
Yeah, that's a big old shout.
Can you just envisage what Leonard Gates could achieve in the next few months? Because if he was to win at Lakeside, He could then go on to be the world
140.
senior champion by winning at the Tavern, after winning everything in the seniors over a calendar year. I think he's going to take some stopping.
96.
Just like Dom Taylor. I said he's played 19 games this week. 17 of them, he's averaged over 90. Yes, only 2 times this week he's
99.
averaged under that
Scott
90
Carr,
mark.
158.
And they were both on Monday. Running the risk in this game of doing that for the 3rd time. But it will mean nothing because he is still
60.
possibly going to be
Dominic
3-0
Carr,
ahead.
86.
Another one in that segment there. Or that for double 7.
72. Scott
Marsh
Carr,
has a chance
98.
of eroding the lead to 1. This is what Mike Gillett did in the previous game. He was 2-0 down and he found a key shot in leg 3. Scott's not going to do that. It just hasn't
40.
clicked for him
Dominic Carr,
tonight so far.
14.
Oh, Gary Stone.
Really?
Yeah, that was my pick.
Not
10.
happy with that one.
Scott
And
Carr,
Marsh
58.
will get a free hit here.
Again, there is that expectation, not just from us, but he will have his own
Game
personal
shot on the 3rd leg. Scott Marsh.
expectation. When things have come
4th
so
leg Tom
easy,
to
you
through
can
first. Game on.
get yourself bogged down a little bit.
Who do you think's going to win the ladies' event at Lakeside then?
I will tell you. Oh, yeah.
You mean you had to think about it?
99.
Sorry, yeah. Bo Greaves, yeah. She could win it every day of the week and twice on the Sunday.
Who's going to win the ladies' event tomorrow? Here,
Oh,
at the
that's-
live lounge.
That's a big call because Lisa, this is Olivia, first darts back from
80.
an arm operation. I think she had it about 7 weeks ago. So, yeah, she's going to be rusty. But sometimes a rest is as good as a break and you can come back fresh. And
81.
if you want to come tomorrow and support the ladies, doors open at 11:30. If you've got the ability to scan a QR code, scan that one. That will take you straight to the landing page on www.dartshop.tv, and your ticket to
85.
the ladies will also get you in tomorrow night to watch the final.
Well, we've already got 3 players that you might want to see. Victor Tingstrom of Sweden, Scott Mitchell, and Jamie Kelling. Now that Jamie's in the final,
140.
there may be a few people joining him from the Andover area just up the road.
Dieter Hedman also in action tomorrow. She'll be a force to be reckoned with, as always.
6 other ladies as well. Will all be vying to be the ADC Ladies Tour Finals
140.
champion.
If you can't get here to watch it and support the ladies, it will be on our MODUS Super Series YouTube channel. If you use social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X, give us a follow
131.
at MSS Darts. All the details will be on there of how, where, and when you can watch.
This week we've seen from Anton Östlund, former weekly champion, who was eliminated in Group C earlier on today, go for bull on 50 with 3 darts in hand.
100.
I'm not
Dominic
sure
Carr,
Dom's that
50.
kind of guy.
No. Maybe in an exhibition.
Commiserations to Anton. I know how much you wanted to make Saturday night once again. And also to Adam Mould, who will be licking his wounds a little bit right now.
Yeah, what could go wrong for Anton today went wrong. And that's where being
Game shot
that
on the
tall
4th
is a
leg.
bonus.
Dom Taylor.
because he was able to look straight over the top of that dart. I mean, it took some
Fifth leg
skill.
Scott to throw first. Game
It
on.
was real craft. He had to be seriously creative there, Paul,
Yeah, he's got skills. And
to burn.
based on the
125.
eye closing there, he's got chills as well. Just not phased by anything at the minute. And this is a very comfortable situation for him. You do envisage him scoring at least 4 points tonight, even with his B game.
Of course, our very own
100.
Mike Gillett in action tonight. He will be at Lakeside in December. He takes on Liam Mendel Lawrence.
Take a chair.
James Richardson action next week. He'll be taking on Christian.
85.
Girdle,
Yeah, that's the one.
not the kind you'd get
No,
on the bride.
as you mentioned, Scott March playing Białecki. Darren Johnson in action next week. He's the winner of Anthony Allen and Denny Alder-Coulter.
Now, I know a
60.
thing or two about Denny. He was part of that afternoon where Daryl Pilgrim was going a bit bananas.
Yeah, and Leonard Gates faces Brian Corbett.
Got a bit of a trip. He's coming from New Zealand.
He is
96.
probably left now.
I must have a chat with Mike Gillett about his Lakeside game. Hope he knows what he's in for with Liam.
140.
Hair colour might change.
Interesting name, who Sean McDonald, friend of the Super Series, faces Johnny Tata in
Oh,
the
from
opening game.
New
Tata
Zealand.
has a car.
95.
He played at the World Series in New Zealand.
He did.
Good player. I'll be hoping he's saying ta-ta to Sean. To go bull here for Dom. Leave the two data.
99.
I
Scott, your
don't
car,
know about
100.
that play. That was either too aggressive or he was just caught not looking at what he had. Should really go for the bull with 1-2-1 left and one dart.
76. Dominic R. 100.
Welcome back. Well, the inevitable has happened. Dom Taylor has secured his spot in Saturday night's finals, and looking to join him, Tommy Morris, who won a couple of games last night. His last 2 matches, and a win here would really strengthen his chances. It would actually put a 4-point buffer between himself and Scott Marsh, and defeat for Mike Gillett would be fatal. He would fall through the tungsten trapdoor with a loss in this one, and guiding you through the action, it is a former winner on that stage, Chris Mason, and a former participant, I'm sorry to say that, Paul Nicholson.
Thank you very much, Murph. Very harsh. Wasn't too harsh on Marsh. There was Dom Taylor. Talking of trapdoor, double 3 by James Wade tonight.
First leg, Mike, to throw first.
Absolutely remarkable.
Game on.
Yeah, you know what they say about the trapdoor. You're not supposed to go down there because perilous. But yeah, that was a brilliant double 3 from Wade. And many congratulations to him and that 16-15 win over Josh Rock. And, of course, to Luke Humphries, who's beaten Gary Anderson tonight at the Grand Slam.
Yeah, and what was just unbelievable. Well, they both were. But got a feel for Josh Rock. He carved out an opportunity to win it himself. Showed a smidgen of lack of experience. Took way too long. Had 3 darts at tops in one visit, and well,
100.
I think he should have just approached Jockey, got on with it, and threw all 3.
Yeah, his process was all over the place in that final shot. And I think he showed way too much emotion when he'd missed his first match start at tops. And Wade was like a hungry lion after that.
You called it. You called it. He said he's just given too much away. Wade will be all over that.
The experience of playing
99.
James. You just know how he operates.
The predator, isn't he? That's why he was in our top 10.
134.
Speaking of top 10s, we've been talking about top 10s over the last 10 years, and I'm going to have that list for you tomorrow.
Okay, well, we're going to have
60.
We're going to have a little sit down and discuss it alongside Chris Murphy, who's made his top 10 in the last 10 years since January the 1st, 2014. It's our top 10. Interesting to see how close they are. And we're going to do them in order as well.
Double 16 for Gillett here. Don't tend to see a great deal of lefties in this corner of the board.
Mike Gillett.
Well, that's a nice lead for Mike, who has 2 problems. 1, points. 2, leg difference, which is sitting at -11 before this game started. He's going to find his way to 3rd position because he can't get to 2nd. He needs Morris to have a bad night. He needs Marsh to beat
61.
Morris when they play, and Gillett is going to have to win this game and the other 2 by margins.
100.
Yeah, he's right up against it.
Tommy Morris yesterday, 88.63, with the same checkered percentage as Gillett yesterday, 33%, but 100. He got more opportunities. In fact, more than double the opportunities.
59.
And I think I figured him out, you know. Watching him practice earlier, and I was having a chat with one of our backroom staff about his style in scoring and the way he pauses before he goes for doubles. I think when he scores, he's like an Uzi. And when he doubles, he's like a sniper.
100. Okay. Michael Carr, 160.
2 treble 20s and tops. There's one of them. The open bed.
100. Tommy Carr, 107.
There's the 7. And get 60 more to leave the outer ring.
87. Mike Ricard, 60.
As you know, if you were watching Mike yesterday, nothing is going to be in the way of tops after this single. Likes to stack them on top.
Game shot on the second
Just
leg.
like
Mike
that.
Gillett.
2-0 Gillett.
So far, so good.
You know what
Third
Mike's
leg,
favourite
Mike,
food
to
is?
first. Game on.
A rather retro dish involving beef. Called a Gillet Mignon.
83.
I always take you serious when you talk about food, Nico. You know that.
I like a food pun.
60.
Well, Tommy Morris is a very famous sporting name, isn't it?
49.
Very much a fixture at St Andrews in Scotland. Both
60.
old and young Tom Morris have won the Open Championship, two of the greats of the 19th century. Ever have the chance to read about the history of old and young
59.
Tom Morris? It's a fascinating story, especially the tragedy of young Tom Morris, who died suddenly when he was young.
140.
He was such a great golfer. Times were tough back then, in the late 19th century.
55.
Absolutely.
Not as cushy as they are now. Wonder if Tommy Morris from Dorset can make a name for
140.
himself in this sport over the next few seasons. He is brilliant to be around. Really infectious attitude.
Yeah, great energy, great passion, always smiling. Glass half full
28.
kind of guy.
Tommy O'Carr, 101.
Right to stop the rot here. It's been a good start from Gillett. There we go. On doubles. He measures it a bit more.
Game shot on the third leg.
Hits the
Tommy
target.
Morris.
Good game, this one. Going back and forth.
Fourth leg, Tommy to throw
There's a
first.
breaker throw
Game
for
on.
Tommy. So we're back on throw.
Mike
55.
Gillett seems to have an addition to his shirt tonight. Don't know what it's about. It's on his right side of his chest as he's looking at the board.
96.
Everybody's got something going on in their lives, and I've always said that darts is a great escape, you know.
85.
No matter what's going on, game of darts or whatever sport or hobby you have, is everybody needs that, don't they?
40.
Yeah, as you know, I love to fish, and someone who's suffered with quite extraordinary mental health issues,
60.
you would think sat on a quiet riverbank with all the time in the world to think about things you shouldn't think about. You don't. You literally, it's just, you're at peace. It's almost like the brain for a very brief period will
95.
just switch off and allow you a bit of respite. That's why sport is so important to people with mental health.
Well, just to prove your point,
85.
fellow dart player Darren Webster is. Well, how do you describe Darren? He is someone who can get bored one day and decide to rip out his bathroom and
100.
refit it the next 48 hours because he's bored. And I've seen Darren next to a lake with a fishing rod, and he
83.
turns into
Mike
this
O'Carr,
serene little
170.
man. And sport can do that to you. It can give you the escapism you want.
Well, the brain will naturally produce endorphins and dopamine and those kind of feel-good chemicals.
134. Tommy O'Carr, 133.
Truly was. It's now a guaranteed shot at double 18.
15. Mike O'Carr, 36.
Who doesn't like double 18? One of the most universally liked doubles on the board because of its position.
Game shot on the
And there you
fourth
go,
leg. Mike
3-1
Gillett.
to Mike. So far, so good. And as he wins legs, he
This
deprives
leg, Mike to throw first.
his
Game on.
opponents of advantages in their leg difference. So he plays Morris, he plays Taylor, who is already qualified, so it's not so
125.
much a thing with him. But he also plays Marsh in game 8 as well. That will be his last match.
180.
Thing that makes me realise that Gillett has got too much to do is that he couldn't take a lot of legs off Bolton.
81.
give himself a cushion against him. This is the biggest game he's got. And I feel he's got to win this 4-1. Because he goes up by 3, whilst Morris goes down by 3.
Yeah, exactly that. Love to fill it. Oh.
140.
Got a certain ring to it.
101.
Yeah, let's go to fill it.
Car 155.
Sounds like a steakhouse.
Yeah, Gillett's Fillets.
Oh, another
131.
great
Tommy
setup
Car
shot.
80.
Morris either hits this or he could be.
Got to go 15 ball.
Yeah.
Ball.
Could be on the shelf. He's gone for the gamble.
Wow. That's risky.
60. Mike Ricard 24.
Very nearly reaped the reward, but that was not the right way to go.
You know where Mike's going. Double 12. Other side of the board.
Game
And he wins
shot
on
the
double
match.
6.
Gillett.
So by winning by 4 legs to 1, he goes up in leg difference to -8. And then he takes Tommy Morris to -2. But vitally, he's only 2 points behind him now. If results go Mike's way, he could still nick that 3rd spot. A vital win for him. So he's still alive. When we come back, it will be Bolton against Taylor. And what's not to like about that?
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where Andy Bolton is looking to book his ticket to finals night. He takes on Dom Taylor, who's already done that. Taylor has been the dominant force in this group, but Bolton is looking to join him in the big money matches on Saturday. The X Factor hoping to take centre stage once again on the Super Series stage. And he can do it if he can be the first man to beat Taylor in Group B. Talking you through the action, it's back to Paul Nicholson and Chris Mason.
Many thanks. I've been looking forward to this game ever since their game from yesterday because it was very good entertainment.
First leg, Dom
On that
to throw
occasion,
first.
Taylor did win by 4 legs to 2.
With,
Game on.
with
When
another
these-
95 plus
Yeah,
average.
but when they play each other, it's just really, really good to watch.
Yeah, tempo suits both. They say in boxing, styles make fights.
What kind of ceiling are we going to see from Dom this evening?
134.
Because he's obviously got the information that he's through to Saturday. How does he respond to that?
Yeah, I think he should just ease up slightly and
140.
just enjoy the fact that, I mean, it can work one or two ways. That if you played poorly and got beat all night, that's obviously not great for your confidence going in. But when you're in control,
94.
you can pretty much do what you like, and you know you want to leave something in the tank for tomorrow. His job is done here.
How important is it tonight for Dom, considering what he's built this week?
180.
Against Andy here, I think, personally, that maintaining good rhythm and good habits is what he needs to do. He's got the wins that he needs to qualify, and it's a bit like winning the
97.
Premier League. For the rest of the season, when you're playing people when they've got their ulterior motives, you just maintain good shape,
Yeah.
you maintain good fitness, and you make sure that when you are in a knockout game
135.
like an FA Cup final or a Champions League final like Man City were last year, you're ready.
Yeah, and that's it. That's exactly. He just wants to stay on top of his game, but just try and cruise.
100.
I suppose
And
is
your
what
car
I'm trying to say.
46.
Double 16. Take it this time for a 12.
30.
As it's surrounded,
Dominic car
Dom can nick it in
76.
15. Or 14.
He has been very, very good in and around this area because of that first start.
68.
Pushes the
And
wire.
your car
And
16.
there's despair on the stage for Dom.
And again, there should be no despair. It's job done.
We'll see it up north. Don't worry, kidder. Oh,
Game shot
and
on
a
the
lovely
first
start
leg.
from Andy.
Andy Bolton.
Whipped around for a 14 dart breaker throw.
You want to teach
Second
me a
leg,
little
Andy
bit more
to throw first.
Bristolian
Game
slang,
on.
by the way? You got me saying Gert Wickhead this week.
You got to say mind at the end of every sentence.
Actually, we do have a little bit of that in Newcastle as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gan Canny Mind. Yeah. Which means,
59.
take it easy, old pal. One of the best things about the UK. The dialects, the accents, and the regionalities. It's brilliant.
It is. I love listening to all the
131.
different accents, and where I live now up in Derbyshire, it's a different accent, but they say duck a lot, which is very Stokey.
140.
There's a big question I need to ask you, and I've been saving this for on the air.
Thanks.
You live in Derbyshire now. What do you call bread? Because this is the age-old debate, isn't it, around the UK?
140.
What do you call a circular
roll?
vessel of bread? Because
Oh,
they call them cobs, don't they?
yeah, and some places is barms, isn't it?
Baps,
Baps. I call it a bread roll. Is
126.
stotties.
that what it is up there?
Yeah, I'm up north. That's a flat white, big bun. It's called a stotty. Fill it with chips. Gravy. Speaking of filling it up,
180.
there you go. We just start calling 180s chip butties. We've already called double three the trapdoor. That's caught on really well.
Bullseye's the gravy.
100.
But you've got to say it like Jim
Dominic car 50.
Carrey. Gravy. We've got 18 double 16. Had a dart in his first game where he went above that shot.
Game
This
shot on
time
the
he goes
second leg.
below.
Dom Taylor.
And a beautiful take out of 50 for 1-1.
Yeah, and an instant reaction from him
Third leg, Dom to
after
throw
the
first.
14 dart
Game
break
on.
from Bolton. Taylor slams in a 12.
Someone out there has got to be able to talk to Andy Bolton and get him to release a yoga video. On stage at the MODUS Super Series, I'm Andy Bolton, and this
94.
is my yoga video.
Yeah, darts yoga.
Get him to do it. Alan Norris is here next week. He can be part of it. Any others you'd have on stage doing that? I think it would sell pretty
100.
well.
Well, anything sells nowadays that's a bit strange.
What you got to do on this stage is sell yourself with your talent. Already seen this year
100.
what Luke Little has done. He has cashed an awful lot of money on this stage to the tune of £50,000 in winners' checks.
Yeah, not including appearance fee money either.
People really do enjoy playing here.
100.
You don't get a tour card. If that is your plan in January, you may just look forward to more of this next year.
And we've got some events happening as well. They'll be
137.
announced in due course.
Hang on, there's a cat on the floor and there's a bag next to it. You let the cat out the bag there.
$140. Dominic R. 170.
Come on, Dom, we haven't had a 170 this week.
Save it to tomorrow night. No, don't do it now.
Do it now!
145.
Oh, he's just
Anil
listening
Carr,
to you because you're from
161.
Bristol. Last time I said those three words, Simon looked like he had 3 bullseyes.
By the way, it's Brizzle.
Oh. Is it really?
Yeah, Brizzle.
97. Dominic R. 25.
3 days of school, dear. Double 12 for Taylor. A very high level of performance so far. Much better than his first game.
19.
Might just be
Anil Carr.
behind.
64.
They're both sky high with their average after a couple of legs.
And he's missed the ball for a back-to-back 12s and a 170. And Bolts is going to get a dart at tops to lead.
Game
And
show
nails
the
it.
third leg. Andy Bolton.
I think it's the right time to talk about what we saw from
Fourth leg
Andy in
Andy to
Group
throw
A
first. Game on.
compared to Group B, because he's in the middle of Game 6, and we now have a very different X factor to Group A, don't we? Because he was a little bit, and I'm not going to say up and
59.
down, I'm going to say down and up, because predominantly he was shooting for the top 3. That was the best he could do. He was never going to win that group. And in this group, he's looked way more comfortable.
Well, I think when he felt like
100.
it was beyond him to win Group A, he just not necessarily took his foot off the gas, but he wasn't as intense as he's been in this group. And he's almost playing with
96.
an air of confidence, which is of concern for the rest of the field.
Correct me if I'm wrong. And Andy Bolton finishing 4th on the Challenge Tour Order of Merit. That gets him in the UK Open, doesn't it?
Yep.
So Andy's got a trip to
140.
Minehead at the start of 2024. And
So have you.
what an awful draw Andy Bolton's going to be for somebody.
Well, exactly that, because he is going to go in the opening
100.
matches, and then you one of the seeded or higher ranked players will play him after he's played a couple of rounds, possibly.
A certain Dom Taylor finished 7th on that Challenge to Order of Merit, so he's going to Minehead as well.
81.
I don't think I've ever seen a Challenge Tour as competitive as the one from this year. It was remarkable.
Darryl Pilgrim, who's there, of course, as a tour card holder.
96.
personally think the ideal dart on
Well,
this turn.
if he gets a card, of course, which I think he will.
I've got a factoid about Darrell Pilgrim that nobody seems to talk about,
65. Andy O'Carr, 150.
Watch the end of this leg first, though.
Big tease you.
I would apologise, but I'm not sorry. Lovely dart from Andy. Self down to 71.
Should be treble 13.
92. Dom O'Carr, 115.
Tom Taylor's under it here.
Ooh, I'm not sure about that. Now, had he gone Andy's way for his shot and hit a 19 and a 60, he'd actually be on double 18.
There's evidence that, yeah, and he knows.
Oops. Probably should have gone there in the first place.
83. Andy O'Carr, 58.
Hasn't lost a game in a while.
Oh, this is for 3-1.
In a bit of trouble. And
Game
on the
shown on the
doubles
fourth
so
leg.
far
Andy
tonight,
Bolton.
Andy Bolton has been remarkable. He was 4 out of 6 in his
This leg
first
comes
game.
through
And he's
first.
3
Game
out of
on.
6 here. 7 from 12. That is special. And he's really continuing what he did yesterday. Yeah, just a little Pilgrim story for you. I didn't know a great deal about
134.
Darrell until he started playing in Southampton with us, but I knew of his name. If it came up, I thought, who's Darrell Pilgrim? And then
100.
it's Q School, 2020, day 1, when there were about 5 million people in the same room. Frightening place. I was on the same board as Fallon Sherrick. And I thought, I'm on a
60.
collision course with Fallon, and she was sitting on my table. We were laughing and joking about it. And we drew each other, and she played brilliantly. She beat me. And she played Darrell Pilgrim next, and it was Darrell that beat her that day.
140.
And we all thought, well, Darrell Pilgrim must be half decent. Yeah, he's a bit better than half decent. He's improved in the last few seasons, and it's fair to say that we do expect from him now.
Well,
97.
we've watched the evolution up close and personal, haven't we? Like you say, via Southampton and now here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth.
125.
The last person to beat Dom Taylor was Victor Tingstrom by 4-0 on Wednesday afternoon. That was that shootout game.
Yeah.
Where
And Tingstrom was
59.
outstanding in
And
that.
he
it really
Carl
was. He averaged 100 in that
136.
game, and that's
Yeah.
what you got to do to beat Dom at the minute.
It was a 4-leg 60 dart job.
Oh, it's a match start, a double 8. And it's the
Game
only
shot
one he
on the mat.
needs. The
Andy
doubling in
Bolton.
that game was remarkable. And what a performance from Andy Bolton, because he's had some big, big games this week. He's had 109 at one point, but that's got to be up there. Dom Taylor averages 100 and doesn't win. 104.1 and 57%. That's a bit of a statement, because not just Dom Taylor is through via Group B now. Andy Bolton has now joined him, and there's only one more place up for grabs. We'll talk more about that after the break.
And two players have booked their tickets from Group B straight through to finals night here at the MODUS Super Series. Both Dom Taylor and Andy Bolton are there, which means that the final three will battle it out for the last remaining place, including that man, Scott Marsh. He takes on Tommy Morris in this fifth game of the evening. Morris 2 points clear of Marsh at the moment, but it could get congested between this duo and Mike Gillett practicing away. And talking you through the action tonight, it's back to Chris Mason and Paul Nicholson.
Thanks, Murph. I'm just wondering, looking at our table at the minute, what is the best result in this game for Mike Gillett, who is hanging on by a thread? And you'd have to say that a Scott Marsh win by 4 legs to 3 would definitely be just the ticket for him, because it would keep the leg difference tight. It would keep it doable for the man from Wales, and it would stop Tommy Morris from getting to 6 points, which is exactly where Mike can finish the night.
Yeah, that will be Mike Gillett's target, but he plays Dom Taylor next, and will Dom Taylor respond like a wounded animal after losing his first game in Group
59.
B? Tommy will view this game
100.
a bit like a semi-final, because if he can win it, he knows that when he plays Andy Bolton in Game 7, his destiny is very much in his hands. But beating Andy tonight, yeah, that's a bit of a task. Average 97 and 104 so far. So it's his turn to average 100 for the night.
Yeah, Tommy has Andy Bolton and Dom to play.
81.
That run-in is not a pleasant one, Nico.
Yeah, that's like running into Liverpool and Man City.
Yeah, for a Champions League place.
59.
Got to make the most of this one then. He's had the better start, that's for sure.
45.
Does have a perfect qualifying record, does Tommy Morris. He's 3 from 3. He hasn't won a Saturday night yet, but making Saturday has been a bit of a habit.
Flyer.
A good one. That's a good bad dot.
76. Tony Carr, 135.
That's just a good dot.
95.
Will do nicely.
Tommy's one of those guys, got the name of his children on his sleeves, isn't he?
He's living the dream, isn't he? He's doing what the
43. Tony Carr, 40.
Boxroom Brigade or the
Game shot on the first leg. Tommy Morris.
balloons would only dream of, isn't he? He's up there. He's doing it.
Second leg Scots through first.
And you know what? He's played county for Dorset for a little while, and he's got himself a bit of confidence. He came in here as a substitute and made an impression. And
a massive impression.
We love
100.
him here. We love having him here on the stage. He's vibrant, and it's given him something that
100.
everybody likes to watch. Not everybody who graces this stage makes as much of an impact in such a short space of time as he has.
And he's like a sponge, isn't he? He's a sponge, isn't he? He's constantly looking for advice and a bit of guidance here and there. And Scott Mitchell's been great to him as well, of course. Playing for the same county. And
60.
And he is work in progress.
He's got the same sort of rhythm as Luke Humphreys, but his technique is a lot more rangy. It's not where his right elbow is tucked into the ribs and it's all
97.
forward motion. There's a lot of extension of the arm. There you see it there. And that elbow is a bit further away. I think this is a throw that could evolve.
Yeah,
26.
I think because it is a little flared is why he can sometimes lose the line. He is very much like most, a first start merchant. But he the infectious part of him is he just loves to play darts, and that brings back so much memories, so many good memories, Nico, doesn't it? When
It does, actually.
we couldn't wait to play anywhere. And again, the beauty of playing on TV and on our YouTube channel, you can go back and can use that to work on things that either we pick up on or he picks up on himself. I think that's why we're seeing a lot players almost fast tracking now.
134.
You know, they're not sort of down the pub and listening to their mates 2 penneth worth.
60.
We can
Scott Lucar, 40.
explain on the fly what we see that may improve his game.
Getting shot on the
Lovely
second
like
leg.
that was
Scott
from
Marsh.
the Martian. Pity his name's not Marvin.
Third leg, Tommy to throw first. Game on. $60.
You have any Marvins and darts? Marvin van Velsen, is that right?
It is.
He could have been called the Martian. Very famous cartoon character, of course, Marvin the Martian. I think you make a good point about who you learn from.
100.
I had some great mentors growing up playing for Northumberland. Like Steve Wanless. And some of the people that
100.
you'll know very well, Graham Stoddart.
Yep. Dodfish, hope you're well, pal. I'm sure you're watching.
When I moved to Australia, I was very fortunate to run into a wonderful fellow from South Africa called Ruben Schulder, who had played at the World Masters. And he was my first real coach. And he gave me some invaluable
60.
advice. And he was quite strict. He was exactly what I needed. My game developed because of that guy. If it
95.
wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, when I was sort of a kid, 7, 8, and 9 years of age, a couple of people that used to point me in the right direction. A few of them you might know. Leighton Reese, Alan Evans.
100.
Got anybody of note?
Bob Anderson, Mike Gregory, Roger Smith, just a Mike
85.
Bart.
Scott Lucar,
Few average
161.
The way that Mace is talking about his mentors, the way we should talk about this, like, yeah, it's not bad. He's only on 161 after 9.
$69. Tommy Lucar,
John
161.
Lowe was another. Someone I'll be spending the day with on Sunday.
We have a bullseye in our future. Do we, Tommy? Are we rocking on?
130. Scott Lucar, 92.
Might even be the bullseye here for Marsh if he so chooses. 1 down and 91 to go. One of the pitfalls
29.
of missing the bullseye outside the
Lucar,
25
31.
is that you've got a number that you don't see very often. 88 for 2-1 for Tommy to extend his positivity and to get closer to qualification, which he can't do in this game,
Getting shot on the
but he
third
will
leg.
get closer
Tommy
to
Morris.
it with that.
Yeah, he was in a dodgy position there.
Fourth leg,
Was a
Scott to throw
big dart,
first.
the
Game
double
on.
fort. Marsh was waiting to pounce on 63.
$55.
Only one more name to add to Saturday night. We can already say that tomorrow's going to be good.
Well, we've got
139.
such a eclectic mix of players and styles and personalities.
Three countries represented. That will be the cap. Scotland, England and Sweden.
180.
I have 2 from the same county.
I sneakily suspect that Mitchell
125.
would like Tommy and his group. And if I may be slightly impartial at this point, I'd like to see that. But I think Gillett And Marsh would like to do something about
28.
that themselves. Marsh has had his little slice of history with the Super Series, or formerly known as the Live League.
50.
Well, if Tommy can pick up a win here, destiny is in his own hands, isn't it? Either a win against Andy Bolton or a win against Dom Taylor, and he is through.
98.
What do you think about Marsh over the last couple of days? It's done his best, but something's missing.
Yeah, it may be down to the fact that this is sort of the start of his
137. Scott Lucar, 140.
preparation for the WDF Worlds next month.
Yeah, never ever judge someone in their pre-season prep, or indeed in the run-up to a big event. It's about what they do when they're there.
Yeah, well, it could be sort
100.
of, you know,
Tommy Lucar,
sort
50.
of call it a camp, wouldn't you? A training camp, and this could very well be just the start of it. Well, that's just in the single 18, double 16 for 3-1.
I had the double 16 this time.
42.
I think he was
Scott
put off
Lucar,
by that
40.
single.
It didn't sit in the board particularly well, did it?
Marsh has had one dart double and hit it so far in this match.
Game shot
Make
of the
that
fourth
2 out of
leg.
2.
Scott Marsh.
This one's tight. And this is following exactly what Mike Gillett wants.
Fifth leg, Tommy to through first. Game on.
Just a reminder that Tommy Morris has got 4 points. Scott and Mike have got 2. And Mike definitely wants Marsh to win this by
78.
the odd leg. That's his ideal result.
Correct. Far less complicated for Morris. He's going to look getting to 8 points.
Well, this group is
100.
nowhere near as complicated as what we saw in Group C.
Yeah, that was the minefield.
Scott Mitchell have a rabbit's foot in his
68.
pocket.
I don't know. Incredible. And he'd actually left. He thought, well, there's no chance that those sequence of results are going to happen.
I hope he knows.
Oh, he knows. Well, I actually left the comms box to see if he was still in the players area, but
28.
he packed up and gone.
Hope that when he left, he didn't make plans for Saturday night. Putting some sort of field down, or maybe doing some fence work. Spend some time with the
100.
cows. Now you're coming back to Portsmouth, Scott. You may have a weekly title to win. Definitely fair to say that the quality has been here in week 2. It's been a higher level of
140.
play this week than last week.
Yeah, it was a slow burner Monday, but wow.
83.
Been progressively improving, hasn't it?
Marsh should really start in the 19s with 233. That's the modern way. But is it classified as a defensive effort going for 19s? Because he's shown exactly what you do to 233.
Route 1 darts from Marsh.
40. Scott Lucar, 53.
Minute, I think Mike Gillett is smiling like the Grinch. He's liking what he sees. Even though Marsh is above him,
Game
That's
shot of
what
the
he
fifth
wants.
leg. Scott Marsh.
now he wants Morris to win this leg and then Marsh to win the one after that.
Sixth leg, Scott to throw first. Game on.
Been very effective on the outer ring. 3 hits from 4. Both averaging mid to high 80s, which is where their games are at the minute, I would say. Coincidentally, both Tommy Morris and
100.
Scott Marsh had their best averages yesterday in a loss. 93.51.
140.
What Morris got when he lost to Andy Bolton by 4 legs to 3. That was a cracking game. Scott Marsh, 90.04 when he lost to Dom Taylor Was on the back end of that 157 finish at the end of game number 9.
100.
Something special
140.
will do. 40 behind to 60 behind to 80 in front.
I get the feeling that Marsh is really starting to warm up here.
140.
Fancy the job.
$100.
What a
Scott
lovely
Carr,
last start that is.
161.
That could be crucial. He's going to stay in this contest. Morris won yesterday by 4 legs to 2 with average very similar to what we're seeing.
97. Tommy
Well, this
Carr,
1-2-1.
121.
May have to go. Oh dear.
55. Scott Carr,
Things are getting
64.
very, very congested. The middle of this table. Mike Gillett plays Dom Taylor in the next game. That is enormous. But first, Marsh could get 4 points.
48. Tommy
He
O'Carr,
can't understand
66.
why that's gone so far right.
That final dart from Tommy Morris should have been at treble 18. Takes his time, sights the target.
26.
This time misses.
Scott Carr, 16.
Scott Marsh winning this game by 4 legs to 2 would not be a bad result at all for Gillett. Is it the case?
No score. Tommy
Not
O'Carr,
quite.
40.
Had it hit that dart a little more, it might have just fallen inside that double 8.
Yeah, could have bumped in.
Game
Well,
shot on the 6th
you're a
leg. Tommy
cat.
Morris.
that's one of your 9 lives. And more bad news.
7th and final leg.
Marsh.
Tommy to throw first.
Tommy has the honour
Game on.
in the decider.
We can say is that if Morris wins this leg, he will
140.
go to 6 points and it will be 4 points ahead of Marsh and Gillett. And the best they could do would be 6. They would need Morris to lose to Bolton and to Taylor.
134.
Either Gillett or Marsh will have to win their last 2 matches. Nail-biting stuff ahead. This is a great
125.
leg from Morris with the darts.
Back in the 140 up with another 2 treble visit.
How much do you think it's a benefit to someone like Tommy who's come into MODUS Super Series action this year that county darts is the same format, a best of 7 legs?
60.
Yeah, that's a good shout for. Didn't even. I think most of the Super League now is best of 7, isn't it?
59.
Certainly a familiar format for him.
Just has to play it 4 or 5 times a day. But I think the intricacy of best of 7, it's something that you will learn at county level and Super League level. But when you come here, you've got to do it more regularly.
125.
Great recovery from Scott. This one's still in the balance. Second time here tonight
137.
that we have gone the distance, following on from Gillett and Bolton in game 1, and Morris leaving tops after 12. I applaud you.
Well, when we're in this situation, Paul, that's what we think about. Double after 12. Double after 12. Love to go out in 12, but if you're not going to do that,
84.
leave
Tommy
the double
O'Carr,
after
40.
12. It'll win these legs more often than you lose them, that's for sure. But he's still got work to do. Needs tops,
Game
gets
Tommy
tops,
Morris.
gets
Tommy
the
Morris.
points. Tommy Morris does move on to 6 points and into a position of qualification. Average is 90.08 for Tommy Morris. Scott Marsh 88.77, but missed multiple match darts, which allowed Tommy Morris back in. When we come back after the break, A big game for Mike Gillett as he takes on Dom Taylor.
Welcome back to the Super Series, where two players have made it through from Group B already tonight. Paul, already at the halfway stage. And, well, where's all the drama? Where's what was going on this afternoon?
I don't think you can have the same kind of drama in two consecutive groups. Well, I suppose you can, but I think with this group, what you've got is a really good amount of domination from Dom and from Andy. They've played so well the last couple of nights, particularly Andy tonight, averaging over 100 for the night and banking his place in Saturday pronto. But the drama lies in the bottom three, doesn't it?
Yeah, and maybe it's just changed a little bit. We'll get a recap of the results. Maybe would have been that little bit more tense had Scott Marsh reversed that scoreline against Tommy Morris.
Yeah, and he could have as well. He had multiple darts to get the win by 4-2, but Tommy Morris took full advantage. But it's not out of the question that Gillett could sneak his way into third position, because Morris has still got to play Taylor and Bolton, two very, very difficult fixtures. But we've got to the stage now where everything needs to go his way, but he needs to do himself a favour first.
Yeah, and he's played better tonight, hasn't he, Mike Gillett? We just cast our minds back to his first match. Hit a couple of bullseye finishes. In fact, we saw 3 bullseye finishes in a row between the pair of him and Andy Bolton, starting with this 1-2-1. Really rare to see that 3 legs in a row ending on the bullseye.
I honestly don't remember the last time I saw it. I've seen some great games where people have had 3 bullseye checkouts in a match of maybe best of 11 or best of 19, but to get 3 in a row in a game of best of 7, that is a very rare thing. You see another bullseye here on the 81, and then Bolton gets in on the act, doesn't he, in the next leg? He finds 4 18s and Bull to make it 3-2. What a fabulous first game this was.
Yep, only 3 words you can really use to describe that super smashing great. You can't beat a bit of bully here at the Super Series. But nobody could seem to beat Dom Taylor. got the next win that he needed to qualify, and a nice 102 checkout to seal it as well with his first victory of the night.
Yeah, and to see him playing at the level that he's doing tonight is good, because he could have easily taken his foot off the gas. We've seen it from some other people, but this is a really good professional win by 4-1. He played Andy a little bit after that, and he didn't play poorly. He averaged 100, and Bolton was just irresistible with 104.
Yeah, they seem to have been trying to outdo each other all week, and Andy Bolton did that with the way that he sealed his qualification. Fantastic performance, as you say, against Dom Taylor, but a brilliant way to win it.
Yeah, you see the averages going into this final shot, 136 to get the game done. He enjoyed that. And you might think that Andy is just about 88 and 92 averages all the time, and he's very good at keeping that range quite tight. But don't forget about the fact that he does have a spectacular game in him. He's had 109 in a game this week. He's also had 104, and there have been some other ones which have been eye-catching too.
Yeah, really good stuff. Can't wait to see them on that stage tomorrow night. We'll see them again tonight, in fact, as well. We'll show you the table, and the pair of them have both amassed 10 points. That's more than enough to qualify. You'd expect them to add to that tally as well, which is why it's really important that Tommy Morris got that previous win, because he plays both of them.
Yeah, very much so. If he is not to win again tonight because he's got to play Andy and Dom, I just get the feeling that all the pressure's on Marsh and Gillett now. But if Tommy can get that extra win, especially in his next match, then he can take his foot off the pedal and breathe a sigh of relief and maybe think that a game against Scott Mitchell on Saturday night is imminent.
Yeah, the lineup for Saturday might be confirmed very, very soon. The lineup for next week is already confirmed, and the champion, Chucky, is coming back.
Your new MODUS Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Yeah, great memories for Jim McEwen. He's back in action next week, and recent memories as well. How much could that help him?
I think it will help him. It's only going to be a couple of weeks between lifting the trophy and coming back for another campaign. He will still have good vibes running through the veins, and I think he'll want to come back in 2024 to have another tilt. He wants to join Luke Littler on two championships, just like Conan Whitehead. I'm sure will try to get a second as well.
Yeah, well, here's the full lineup for week 3 of Series 6. Leonard Gates, the man that beat Jim McEwen in that big TV final at the World Seniors Match Play. We've got Jake McMillan coming over from North America, another Swedish player in Johan Enstrom as well, and well-known names like James Richardson, Alan Norris, Chaz Barstow, we've seen plenty of times on that stage as well. Who catches your eye there?
Johan Engstrom and Leonard Gates. For me, when you talk about McEwen coming through, yeah, there'll be the extra pressure on him now because he is the defending champion, but you've got to try and see where the other stories could be. Engstrom's making a debut with us, but he's got a lot of experience, as has Gates, and people are trying to prepare for their Lakeside tilt and people trying to have a really good end to 2023. So aside from Jim, who I am really pleased for when it comes to winning that title, he'll be in Saturday night next week. I absolutely know that. But as for other people, Engstrom and Gates.
And in this group, we absolutely know that Dom Taylor will be in Saturday night this week, but we're not quite sure what's going to happen to Mike Gillett. He's now once again teetering across the tightrope here at the Super Series. If he falls off it by losing this match, then that will be him eliminated. Paul is going to head downstairs where Chris Mason is waiting in commentary.
Thanks very much, Murph. Yeah, simple equation for the maths teacher. Win and you're still in, although precarious. Lose and you're out. Last night, these two met in match number 5, and it was yet
Looks
another
like Mike to
great
throw
performance,
first.
but it wasn't too shabby
Game on.
from Mike Gillett. He was limited to just 3 darts at a double, of which he hit 1 of them. He averaged 95.12, 180. Dom Taylor, 100.50, 4 out of 9 on the outer ring.
60.
And he also had a max of his own. The odds for this one, 13-8 Gillett. Dom, as you would expect, a warm favourite at 4-9. It'd be interesting to see
180.
how he bounced back. He bounced back well every time he was, well, not that he was defeated often in Group A, but when he was, there was always a instant response.
And there has been immediately.
93.
Talk about a really, really tough task to keep yourself in the fold. Going to have to beat the form player of the week.
137.
Oh, he's here in Group B. He's not won Group A, but when you compare the weekly statistics between Taylor and Tingstrom, and even Bolton, there are
98.
gaps. Mike Gillett's best performance of the week was an average yesterday of 95.21.
129.
When he was defeated by Tommy Morris. I hasten to say that he's going to have to find something like that, or possibly even better, just to get the points here. The leg difference, we'll worry about that later. Just try and get the points, Mike.
Yeah. He can
Game
get
shot on the
to
first leg. Dom Taylor.
6 points. But as you've mentioned, he's got to win big here.
Second leg, Dom to through first.
And then he'll
Game
have to
on.
win big in his final game and then hope that Tommy Morris is beaten big.
100. 100.
Well, as we expected, there has been a response from Dom Taylor. 11 darter. Break throw instantly.
I've been looking through my results sheets this week just to reconfirm what I was thinking.
100.
I'm trying to find any sort of evidence, give Mike some encouragement. And Dom has been defeated 4-0 twice this week. Once by Tingstrom and the other by Nathan Treadgold. So it's possible. And those two defeats
60.
were inflicted with averages of 194. So it does back up what I said in leg one. That's the kind of performance you're going to need. Get it
85.
done. And we know he can do that.
Right, the last time he was beaten 4-0, as you say, was Wednesday by Tingstrom, which did ultimately decide the winner of Group A. First match back after that, he averaged 107.
Splendid stuff from Mike there.
Dominican 101.
But Taylor could double the lead. He keeps taking legs like this. They are very, very damaging. He's looking at double 18 again.
65.
Moves the
Mike
wire.
42.
And Gillett must take this. Double 16. Crucial.
24.
And it's the wrong bed.
Dominican 36.
Goldilocks for Gillett. Would be 2-0 for Dom.
Game shot on the
Oh, that's a
second leg.
nestler,
Dom
isn't it?
Taylor.
What a beautiful shot that is.
And again, it's just
Third
so
leg, Mike
much
to throw
confidence
first.
in
Game on.
that throw and the release. He's just trying to move that hip around, something that you said could well be an issue over time.
81.
And Dom, take your advice from Uncle Nico. Find the pigeon pose. Really good for stretching out the hip. Because being so tall, he will put so much pressure on his
100.
joints. Some of the physical therapy that the basketballers go through, it will bend your mind. What they've got to do to remain
93.
supple and The amount of work they do in their joints, because
The
those
impact.
basketball courts have got no give.
Nope.
Basketball courts don't have lovely carpet like we do.
121.
Fair thought for the referee as well. He spends a lot of time on his feet.
Spent a lot of time,
180.
a lot of hockey time this week. I want to add up the hours. Maybe you should think about getting paid by the hour here.
$56.
What's
Michael
more
Carr,
difficult, a 9-darter or a
147.
147?
147. It's 36 different shots.
129.
Love the way you just said 36 there. And he was going for 36.
I did try and hold back.
I'm with you. 9-darter
It's
is
not even up
not,
for
is
debate.
not as hard as the 147. 147's harder.
138. Michael
All about the
Carr, 18.
variables, isn't it?
Indeed. Hole-in-one's easier.
I could have one.
Game shot on the third leg.
We were
Mike
actually
Gillett.
watching some of the strangest hole-in-ones the other day, weren't we? And there was one where it was going nowhere here
Fourth
near
leg
the
Johnson
hole.
through
It
first. Game on.
hit the player's ball, had already put one on the green and went like a bit like a snooker shot, a cannon. And fired in the hole for a hole-in-one.
I had my closest call for a hole-in-one for a long time this year.
177.
Speaking of holes in one, Dom Taylor sets up another effort for a 9-darter with 3 perfect darts at the start of a leg. Yeah, 5-iron at the 10th hole at Haywards Heath.
97.
Uphill, didn't see it, walks up. It's about 3 feet from the hole, and people on the next tee said he didn't see it, but it lipped out. Oh. That would have been a good one. 200 yards
140.
for a hole-in-one. That would have been a beauty.
Don Taylor has missed the double 12 for a 9 in
78.
his practice darts. He's been 7 deep a couple of times, hasn't he, this week? Into a 9.
He's got that wonderful smile going at the minute. Look at
Well,
him.
he knows. He knows he should be going for double 12.
How funny would it have been if he'd gone for
136.
double 12 there?
Well, the funniest one ever with that is when MVG was playing Chizzy in the Worlds, and Chizzy missed a 9. And even though
57,
Michael
Dominic
didn't
R,
need one for
48.
one, he took it out and sort of give him a grin as if to say, that's how you do it.
That will never be topped.
No.
That is the best housery I've ever seen on the dartboard. Absolutely supreme
Yeah.
by a supreme champion. Oh,
Game
another
shot on
great
the
dart
fourth
from
leg.
Taylor.
John
It's
Taylor.
3-1. Gillett hanging by a thread.
Fifth leg Mike to
Yeah,
through
in terms
first.
of
Game on.
housery, it's right up there with Whitlock's 3 balls. Taylor's 10 on the ball against
85.
Painter.
Honestly, can't think of anything better than that 1-4-1 from
No.
MVG. At it again.
140.
He's determined to get one, isn't he?
Averaging 112.25, and we're in leg 5.
Not to quote Austin Powers, but oh, behave.
58.
He could even better what he's done this week. The level he's playing at. This is world-class stuff.
60.
Sometimes you've just got to make peace with the fact that somebody is having their purple patch when you're
81.
playing okay, but you're not on their level. And Mike's not playing poorly tonight at all, but he's facing an opponent who is most definitely smacking form.
56.
Yeah, well, if there was a Worlds qualifier he could play in, he'd be
97.
fancying it right now as we head towards the magic darting month of December.
You got any German grandparents? You could probably go to the Western European qualifier, which is pretty imminent. And I don't think there are many people in the Eastern European qualifier.
100.
The last time I heard, there were 14 people in it.
Oh.
Not enough players for a last 16.
That buys.
So there's going to be a few more going to that. That gets closer.
140.
Plus 140 there from Mike, but it is
145.
match point Taylor. 145 for another monstrous average. And it's alive.
That come out of the hand. You would have felt like that was super close.
117. Microcar 40.
It's getting very popular, isn't it? The treble 14 on 70. Double 10. Must stay in touch.
It's okay for a left-hander.
20.
Oh, that's unlucky. That is desperately
Dominicar
unlucky.
28.
He could throw that same dart another 9 times and it would probably land half the time. But the knockout blow for Gillett could be imminent.
$14. Microcar
Not
20.
yet.
And he's been very good at that tonight. Making those minuscule adjustments of line and length.
Double 5. Stay alive.
15.
That may be that.
Dominicar 14.
The jaw drops. The head drops with it. Taylor's got time. Did he want that?
No, it was for 6 for double 4. It's 10 double 2.
He did want
Game
that.
shot in the match. Dom
And
Taylor.
Dom Taylor is the executioner of Mike Gillett. He's not going to make Saturday night, and it will not be a second weekly title for the man from Wales. He will have one more game tonight against Scott Marsh, and he may just affect who else goes through, but it's not going to be him because Dom Taylor cruised through that one in 5 legs, averaging 99.41. When we come back after the break, we'll see what Tommy Morris can do next, because a win for him, and he will be in Saturday.
Welcome back to the Super Series, where one place remains up for grabs at finals night tomorrow. And Tommy Morris is the man hoping to take it. Andy Bolton, his opponent in this one, is already there. He's made it through Group B with a couple of games to spare, along with Scott Taylor, Dom Taylor, apologies. But Tommy Morris, with victory in this one, will join them and complete the Super Six for Saturday. And guiding you through the action is Chris Mason and Paul Nicholson.
Yeah, and Tommy will be aware it's quite simple for him. Win and he guarantees his place.
41.
Looking at the running, Nico. Obviously got this one on now. And is Scott Marsh against Mike Gillett. Then
54.
Tom against Tommy. And then Andy
Tommy
against
Vasco is
Scott.
41.
Scott, of course, will have to win both matches.
All of a sudden, this is looking very rosy for Tommy Morris, because he has 2 individual cracks at winning a match to qualify. And he also has the luxury of watching another match that he's not playing in, where if he gets the right result, he will also qualify.
Okay.
I wonder if he's looking relaxed. And it could be 4 from 4.
99.
Qualifying for Saturday night in the last few months. That's a great effort.
Yeah.
Not done yet, though. Don't forget about Scott Marsh.
100.
He's a bit of a backdoor specialist.
Yeah, and Scott Marsh's issue is the -8.
7 legs is a lot at this stage with 4 matches to go. How do you think Andy's feeling at the minute? Apart from very pleased that he's coming back for day 6 of week 2.
59.
Yeah, I think he's been the second best player in this Group B. But he has produced.
125.
And don't underestimate the psychological effect of defeating Dom Taylor 4-1, who averaged over 100. Because
59.
if they meet tomorrow night, that is a seed planted. You know how it works, Nico?
I do. And by the end of the night,
100.
we will know the groups. You are not able to stay awake for the rest of the night. Stay tuned to the social media feeds to see the groups on our feed at MSS Darts on X and our other feeds like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We'll let you know as soon as you're awake
92.
who you can look forward to watching in which group. Wonder who's going to be with Victor, who's going to be with Mitchell, who's going to be with Kelling.
Well, Mitchell's
43.
mentality and approach should be, wow, I'm free rolling.
Game shot in the first leg.
I'm going to
Tommy
come
Morris.
out all guns blazing and see how it plays out.
I wonder if Tommy's going to do that guns
Second leg, Andy
blazing
to serve
celebration
first. He will.
sometime tomorrow if he gets through.
He sure will.
Don't be surprised if you see Tommy Morris at the UK Open in March as well, because he might just go to one of the qualifiers and get through. That would not shock me at all. Exactly the longest journey
81.
from Dorset to Somerset as well.
Yeah, I do hope they move that concept on. The ADC have proven
100.
that they are more than capable of holding tournaments. I'd love to see the qualifiers
100.
in a proper environment where players get proper setups. And listen, Riley's have been great over the years, but let's be honest, the big talking point you always hear
59.
is disgruntled players who have just not enjoyed the environment, where I think we should have regional qualifiers,
137.
even if you just did 4 real big ones and the qualifiers, and let the ADC find the venues and run those events.
Could even have here as a venue.
100.
Yeah.
There are plenty of places around the country, but I, like you, saw some of the YouTube feeds of some of the
87.
venues the last
Andy
year, and
O'Connor,
it simply isn't good
142.
enough.
No, not when you're talking about qualifying for such a premier event.
Absolutely.
You know, this isn't. You know, this isn't something Mickey Mouse. This is big time. If you want to realise what can come from it, look
60.
no further than Rob Cross.
Tony O'Connor, 96.
And Andrew Gilding.
Case in point.
Nice switch, Tommy. Was your 38?
58. Andy O'Connor, 82.
How's your bullseye, Andy? Liked it earlier when you were playing against Mike. His finishing tonight has been sublime.
62. Tommy O'Connor, 38.
Right on cue with the commentator's curse.
What I do. Double 16 for Tommy Morris. Could be kind. He could just bump off that one.
22.
See his darts going
Andy
in
O'Connor,
sideways
20.
at the end. Got a bit of Brendan Dolan about them.
Yeah, well, he's got an aggressive release. They go through the air.
Game shot on the second leg. Andy
Well,
Bolton.
I don't know what speed, but they're thrown.
Third leg,
So
Tommy
for
to
the
third
dart
first.
to actually
Game
get
on.
through its weep and wibble, you probably need to be 10 foot away for them to actually clean up
140.
aerodynamically.
Make a great point, because you will look at Lisa Ashton tomorrow, or should I say later today, because it is
57.
12:15 on Saturday morning. In around about 12 hours' time, you will see Ashton not standing
85.
right against the oche. She will stand back. And when it comes to the ladies' event today, how much of an advantage is it that she's played here before?
97.
Yeah, it's going to be big, isn't it?
$100.
I think some of the ladies who have definitely not played here will look at this place and think,
60.
this is what this is all about, is it?
Yeah, they'll have quite a moment when they walk through the doors, see everything in
55.
place for them. My goodness, won't they enjoy being up on that stage?
Just ask the lads how good the throw is.
140.
It is
Tommy
perfect.
O'Connor, 121.
And I think in this series, it's got better, because I think that carpet is better. Some people found that yellow
57.
carpet quite
Andy O'Connor,
distracting.
147.
Yeah, it's quite off-putting. So, change of plan was implemented. Now we have a still
95.
matches the
Tommy O'Connor, 64.
colour theme of the MODUS Super Series with the yellow band around the exclusion zone.
For a bit of red here is Tommy.
44. Andy O'Connor, 52.
Maybe looking for a bit of green. Be looking for a bit of green tomorrow night.
Looking for
Game
5
shot on the
bags.
third leg. Andy Bolton.
When he comes to Saturday night,
Fourth
always
leg, Andy to
guarantees
third
at least
first.
2.5.
Game on.
Definitely going to be one of the favourites.
People often get confused with the exclusion
100.
zone. You're not allowed to be fully in the exclusion zone. You can have both half your feet in there with your toes over the line. But as
77.
long as you're not fully in the exclusion zone, which is why it's called a zone.
It's a bit like the football on the pitch.
100.
It being out of play, the entire ball has to be out of play, not just the bottom curve where you can see the gap between the line and the ball.
42.
Bit like
Correct.
that very controversial Arsenal-Newcastle match, which made headlines on Friday.
Yeah, certainly
Again,
made headlines on TalkSport today. Simon Jordan and Martin Keown
180.
locking horns.
can I just have my 6 pence worth for that one?
Yes.
The ball was in. Let's
100.
move on.
Andy McCall,
So it's 2-1 Bolton.
121.
It could be 3-1.
Yeah, I was on my way here, so I was listening in on the radio, so I didn't actually get to see it.
89.
Ball was in. It wasn't a foul. It wasn't offside. It was checked. It was a goal. 1-0 Newcastle. End of the story.
59. Andy McCall, 32.
That's it.
Tsunami.
Just create the angle that you can see.
Game
Is
showing
there
the
anybody
four flag.
this
Andy
week who has
Bolton.
done that better?
Exactly going to say those very words.
Fifth flag, Tommy to throw first.
Here, not
Game
Tommy.
on.
There are still things that can happen that will cruise you through to Saturday.
95.
Yeah, one of them being Scott Marsh, beaten by Mike Gillett in the game to follow.
100.
Will ensure your spot.
But
So
you
low-
might,
I mean, you could end up getting through on 6 points. That's a low number, isn't it?
it is. Do you remember the week that you qualified for your finals in week 12 of Series 1?
96.
I actually could have qualified on 6 points in Group B. Failed to win my last game, and I didn't know it at the time because I like to play ignorant in these table situations. And had I won my last game, I would have qualified. But I didn't know that at the time because I was just trying to win every game.
Well, I don't think we had the monitor in there at that time, did we?
don't think so.
174.
We do now have a big monitor in there that, well, there's two in there. One that's showing what you're watching at
60.
home or
Andy
in
McCall,
work or on your
131.
laptop, tablet, etc., your phone. And then we have another one with the table on it, so the players, if they want, can keep abreast of going on.
55.
This is a great leg from Andy. The back of that 174, he sets up 76 to win this game
100.
and
Andy
to keep
McCall,
pace
76.
with Taylor at the top, because they might just have one last dance to see who wins the group. And
Game
Bolton
shot
has
in the
won
match.
4-1,
Andy Bolton.
which means he's on 12 points now, 3 legs behind on Taylor. And Bolton will play Marsh in the very last game of this group to see whether he can actually win it. Take a break, Andy. You've just done Tommy no favours by beating him there. But let's find out and see if Scott Marsh can keep this alive when he plays Mike Gillett after the break.
Well, Scott Marsh is clinging to the cliff edge here at the Modus Super Series. He needs victory in this game against already eliminated Mike Gillett, or he will fall over that edge, and Tommy Morris will secure his spot at finals night on Saturday. It's must win for Marsh, this one. If he does get the victory, he'll move within 2 points of Morris, who has to play the league leader Dom Taylor in his last match, and Marsh will then go up against the already qualified Andy Bolton. So, can he keep his hopes alive? Let's find out in the company of Paul Nicholson and Chris Mason.
Thanks, Murph. Beautifully explained. Quite simple. You lose, BFH. You
First leg,
win,
Scott to throw
there's
first.
still an outside chance.
Game on.
But you're going to have to hope that Taylor does a job on Morris, and then Marsh would have to do a job on Andy Bolton. Good luck with that.
Agreed.
60.
Wholeheartedly. Whenever you see a BFH, why do I get that sound in my head of the board revolving? I want that as my text tone.
125.
I'm sure you can get it. There's enough of those techie guys here now that can sort that out.
I feel like that old school darts theme song they used for the seniors.
140.
My word, that takes me back.
Yeah, the days of the Beeb showing the then Embassy World Professional Darts Championships.
66.
Marsh's leg difference at the minute sits at -8. Tommy Morris -4.
95.
With 2 games to go, that's not a great deal of difference. But Marsh must win this game to stay alive. And then he's going to have to beat Andy Bolton,
81.
like Chris mentioned, which is a very tough task. All the while, he then needs Dom Taylor to beat Tommy Morris as well. If Dom can inflict defeat on Tommy by a distance after Marsh
59.
beats Gillett, we could have another climactic ending to a group like we've had all week.
Well, Dom seemed to
180.
not
Scott
mind
Ricardo,
playing Tommy. He
147.
played him match number 2 last night. And 142 with a fairly decent 107 average.
98. Michael Carr, 49.
Going bull for tops in that spot, I am not a fan. Double 10. Will be a break of throat.
29. Scott Ricardo, 49.
Some of the energy has definitely left Mike now.
Well, it's so hard to play in this scenario. Of course, Marsh playing with the outside hope of still qualifying,
Game's on the
so
first leg. Scott
his
Marsh.
engine is still revved up.
Second leg, Mike to throw first. Game on.
I wonder what Scott Marsh is going to walk out to at Lakeside. I've got a great idea for him.
Go on.
Have you ever heard War of the Worlds by Jeff Wayne?
I have.
43.
Voiced by
Yeah.
Richard Burton. And that thing, no one would have believed the last years of the 19th century that human affairs watched and scrutinized by these in the world of realms of space.
Very apt nowadays, that.
140.
But there's a violin part that kicks in after that monologue from Richard Burton, and it's marvelous. And it's based on people who come from Mars.
85.
So get on it, Scott. I'm
Yeah.
not going to use it. I don't think anybody else is, and it would be very fitting for you, so crack on.
I bet there's already like a raved up version out there somewhere already.
100.
Let's go with the classic one. Great piece of music. I've seen it live at the O2.
85.
One of the greatest things created in the last 60 years, in my opinion. so many things you can talk about with that piece of music and that creation. And one of the lines on it is, the chances of anything coming from Mars
57.
are 1,000,000 to 1, they said. Well, he can then put his hand up and say, well, I'm a Martian.
If it was a
44.
1,000,000 to 1 to land something on it, because the rover's been up there quite a while now, hasn't it?
That's impressive stuff. Can't even imagine the engineering and the science that goes into that. Can you imagine if
AI, mate. AI.
Imagine if NASA got involved
140.
in making darts. What they'd be able to do.
Didn't something happen recently with that, where some company believed they've designed the
140. Scott Lucas,
perfect
64.
dart? Did you not see that? They had some pros playing with them, throwing them.
Have to show me that.
Oh well.
31 for Scott with 2 darts.
Could be 11 for double 10. I mean, 15 double 8. Well, it depends what he fancies. He may go safe.
$48. Michael
We've gone
Carr,
7,
104.
of course. The insurance of the 19.
You know what? After watching Scott for the last 3 or 4 years, I still haven't got a clue what his favourite double is. I haven't got the foggiest. So at this stage, Anne Robinson can say to me, I am the weakest link. Goodbye.
38. Scott
I
Lucas,
don't
16.
think he knows what his favourite double is in a cup.
I think that's one of the problems. How was he on double 8?
If he hits this might be his new favourite.
Game shot on
He
the
likes
second
that a
leg.
lot.
Scott Marsh.
Could find himself
Third leg,
on
Scott to throw
the
first.
same leg difference as Tommy Morris
Game on.
going into the next game. And it could be as simple as Marsh just needing to get the win, not even by a margin. Squeak his way into the top 3.
97.
Think about that first week in Southampton in early 2021, where we had Jason Askew and Aaron Monk. Colin Sherrick was there. Martin Adams was there. We're all thinking, well, the first week there, this is going to be landmark week. Who's going to win it? And Scott Marsh won it.
Did it in some style.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's won a week
100.
since. Definitely hasn't won in Portsmouth. There's a long time between drinks.
97.
Getting along for nearly 3 years. He's a former British Open champion, and when you put his name alongside some of the people who have won that tournament, that is an impressive list of people.
100.
Who won the British Open this year? Luke Littler.
Did he win the British Classic as well?
Won them both in the same day.
100.
Yeah. Just not fair.
I think he didn't win the British Open or the British Classic.
Nearly won the British Classic. No, I think that was another one I lost in the final to Merv too.
60.
I think it was Merv. And
Michael
then
Carr, 164.
quarterfinals, best I ever did in the British Open.
Difficult tournament, wasn't it?
Oh, I bust 82 for complete control. I hit the ball, and then it double 8, and then hit another double 8. Hit double 16 when I was going for double 8. And then he, I can't
92.
remember who beat me.
Scott
It
Lucas,
was the year that
144.
Al Hedman won it.
Mid-90s.
Yeah, Dieter's brother. And then lost in the final of the pairs 2 years running with 2 different people. Dave Jenner and George Turnbull.
58. Michael Carr, 72.
Get on the board. Could be 16s here, looking to leave double 12. The single leaves tops.
Game
What
shot
a
on the
lovely
third
checkout
leg.
that is from Mike.
Gilly.
He's not finished yet. Might not be going to Saturday night. He might ruin Scott's party.
Fourth leg, Mike to throw first. Game on.
The British Open was one of my first road trips with Gary
78.
Robson. Back in 2001, we went to the Adelphi Hotel in Liverpool. We had Chinese food with Gary Anderson that weekend. Good times. Back when Gary Anderson used to have hoop
100.
earring in his left ear and called himself Dream Boy.
That was his nickname. He loves it when I remind him of that.
And he was sitting at the table all night. I don't practice, I don't need to.
134.
Turn up and I play. I'm going for breakfast at 7:30 in the morning. He's on the practice board. You liar. Good times. Met some great people that weekend. Met John Walton. And Peter Manley was there.
140.
Always said I don't necessarily miss the playing, but I certainly miss the camaraderie and the crack with the lads.
Yeah, there was a separation in that room as well that I'll never forget.
137.
A whole bunch of superstars on one table, and there were some people who wanted to be superstars on another table. And then in the corner, saw one practice board that was dominated by Dutch players. And all I could see was Raymer van Barneveld and Vincent van der Voort towering over everybody else. 'Cause they were so tall.
125. Michael Carr, 152.
Didn't say a word. Just there, and they played. Went back to their table and just didn't say a word to anybody. The first time I ever thought, I want to be part of this.
Yeah, you want to be in that club.
128. Scott the Car, 136.
Well, we've seen this from the X Factor, Andy Bolton. Went for 2 treble 16s for double tops.
56. Michael Carr, 24.
What say you on that shot, Nico?
I don't mind it. If you like tops, which we haven't got a clue if Scott does,
Game shot on the fourth leg.
we'll never
Mike
know.
Gillett.
Because it's 2-2. Great response here from Mike, who's averaging mid-90s all of a sudden.
Fifth leg, Scott to throw first. Game on.
Obviously fancies finishing off with a bit of a flourish. A bit like Nathan Treadgold, who is also from Wales and spoiled Adam Mould's party. Well, the Welsh players are going to be party poopers here this week.
62.
Yes. It is part in terms of being a spoiler.
You're coming on Saturday night and you're watching here this evening to see
100.
who the last player is going to be. Why don't you get in touch with us and let us know where you're coming from? Had players come from all over the world to play here on a Saturday night, and I've also had some fans turn up in their own T-shirts saying, "That's Modus, baby."
55.
I'd like those lads to come back. Maybe they were just here to see the flamboyance of a certain Reece Robinson.
140.
There'll be plenty of flamboyance come Saturday night here. Only going to be one Swede. Could have been 2. There will be another Swede here next week in
96.
Johan Engström. He's useful. He's going to cause problems for people in Group A. Make no mistake.
Are you familiar with him from the Euro Tour?
Yeah.
81.
It's some Nordic and Baltic stuff. He's,
Yeah, it's a name I'm aware of, but I don't recall I've seen him play yet.
Yeah, he's useful. He's each year getting a little bit better. I think he will definitely benefit from this next week. Just another sign that Swedish darts is on the up.
96.
Because we have had Danish players with us over the last couple of years. Likes of Benjamin Drus and Andreas Toft Jorgensen.
100.
But we're starting to get more Swedes than ever. I've had a Norwegian in Kåre Dekker.
The big lad.
He's a bit like that guy from Police Squad, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, the guy who's got the doctor's coat and you never see his head.
60.
You call Al?
Michael Carr, 80.
Right. Double 10 for Gilly. Oh,
He's
that's
shot on the fifth leg.
beautiful.
Mike Gilly.
He's one leg away from putting Marsh out.
Sixth leg Mike to throw first. Game on.
Tommy Morris is getting good vibes at the minute. Gillett has got the darts. It might just be about the finish with a 50%
93.
win rate this evening.
Yeah, ultimately, paid the price for quite getting out the blocks quick enough last night. And in fairness, he walked into some savage performances.
121.
There have been a lot of savage performances week wide. There are certain weeks that you see
100.
that yield 1 or 2, maybe 3 ton plus averages. It's going to take us a bit of time to add them up come Saturday. There have been plenty. With the experience that we have
45.
from the people who are going to be here on Saturday night, I don't think there's going to be any ring rust or any nerves. I think it will be much better than the Saturday night from last week. And big performances could come.
81.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Victor handles the whole occasion, because I know he's desperate to emulate what Anton achieved, because he would have seen the impact that had back home.
Could become the 3rd Swedish weekly champion here in Portsmouth.
45.
And Anton and Andreas Harrison. But I sneakily suspect that the pressure's not on him come tonight. I think it's on Dom Taylor. I think it's on Bolton.
94.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a great deal on Jamie Kelly.
In a strange sort of way. That's what my concern was tonight for Tom going into this session, but he soon dispelled that, didn't he?
Darts here from Marsh. He got one more flourish. He's going to need 2 straight
140.
legs from here.
Mike McCall,
to
133.
keep this alive. Level 19 will leave double 18.
59. Scott McCall, 150.
It's not quite Hail Mary time, but it's getting very close. In order to do a Hail Mary, you've got to deliver a really good pass. You've got to get someone to
Mike
catch it in the
McCall,
end zone.
74.
That's what it's all about. The board will catch it if you throw it right. Could be knockout punch time.
Game.
Touchdown,
Gillett. Mike Gillett.
And it means that Scott Marsh is not going to make it to Saturday. He's not played his best over the last couple of nights. He does have one more game left against Andy Bolton, but it does mean that Tommy Morris is going to make his 4th appearance on a Saturday night, and we still have the hope of that game with Scott Mitchell alive here in week number 2. They are the stats from that game, and you will get a very good game coming up, and it's going to be Taylor against Morris in game number 9.
Welcome back. A couple of games left to go here at the Super Series, but that man there, Tommy Morris, is a very happy man. The previous result confirmed his qualification for finals night on Saturday, maintaining that perfect record of getting there for the gun, who is hoping to, well, fire a few big shots against Dom Taylor, the man who's looking to go on and win this group, the Tower. But both players are already through, and this could be a precursor to a meeting on Saturday. And talking you through it is Chris Mason and Paul Nicholson.
Thanks, Murph. Not much to finalise here in the early hours of Saturday. Like you mentioned, Dom Taylor, who finished second in Group A a couple of days ago, winning this game, and he will win Group B. And position between himself and Andy Bolton will stipulate which group you go into on Saturday night. Now, I don't like to talk too much about that, but I do know that winning the group will make you feel good, and Dom will think that that's something he deserves.
Yeah, and like I said, not that you don't want him to leave everything on the training ground effectively. Just want him to go through the motions, but I think he's cut from a slightly different cloth. He wants to win 94. This, to go into tomorrow night when he walks in that practice room with the attitude
60.
of already being a winner this week.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because you win the group, you do feel like a winner. I was better than 4 other players over 2 days. And Victor Tingstrom's been in his hotel room for the last couple of days thinking that very thing. He's probably already asleep,
60.
getting maximum rest.
127.
To come back around. To come back. It's the second time he's done it tonight. It's becoming a thing. Oh, watch out. Please do it. Well,
96.
He gave us the look, and I guarantee you, had he hit that, he must see it.
He's going to do it, isn't he?
85. Dominic R, 31.
He's got the devil about him, hasn't he?
We have just given him so much rope to do it. Double 12. And he takes the first leg in 15 darts. He's not going to relent.
Standard fare from Dom Taylor.
Dom, leave it again.
Second leg, Tommy to throw first.
Tommy, you do the same. Don't give him an option. When you get to 201 after 3 tons, score 8. Is it 74? Yeah, just easy done. Bull, treble 9, bull.
58.
Don't encourage him, Nico.
It's that time of night where you might see a bit of flamboyance.
100.
You saw it from Nico Bloom last week. Dom does slip up and not get the 4 legs in this game. Bolton wins against Marsh, and he would win the group. And
100.
he has won Group B before.
$100.
We've got our 6 combatants for Saturday night now. What's your fancy for the final?
$60. 60.
I think it could be Dom versus Andy Bolton. For me, I think, well, again, not an opinion. Statistically, they've been the 2 best players this week.
They've both been to finals before.
180.
He's been doing that an awful lot. As Dom Taylor. Double 12 for Tommy.
129. Dominic R, 103.
How many times has he taken one out in the range of this visit? Double 12, and he loves it over here.
Game shot on the second leg. Dom Taylor.
283 and 6. Wonderfully done. That's just world-class stuff.
Third leg, Dom to throw first. Game on.
100 average after 2 legs. And how many times have we said that this week for him? I almost made
80.
peace with a statement that I've almost made my own. It's boringly good. And I mean that in the nicest possible way.
15.
There are times when I sit in my chair and I commentate on darts and I just tilt my head and I think, that is just so good. And we can appreciate it on a different level when he's doing things
177.
like this. Because we've tried to do this and it's not easy.
Tried to do it,
78.
Nico. We've done it.
We have done it, yeah.
But that's what makes it even more pleasing. You know how difficult it is
100.
to achieve, and it's just a pleasure to see someone growing right in front of your eyes.
61.
You don't want to grow anymore.
Dominic
but-
144.
We have a challenge for you in the last game, though. I'm going to give you a little bit of homework between now and the last game. Before he hits double 12.
132.
Really thought he was going to hit that.
He nearly did. He bent the wire.
He is drilling
85.
Tommy into the ground
Dominic
with
R12.
incredible play. This game may not take long. Fancy the trapdoor? Nope, just bust the lot.
No score.
Take yourself back to 12. Absolutely the right thing to do. And by the way, your homework is going to be this. Might set a bit of a precedent here for people doing this at
92.
home.
Dominic R12.
I want 12 players from you in your ideal
Game shot in the third
1980s
leg. Dom Taylor.
Super Series lineup. I want your A, B, and C
Fourth leg Tommy to throw first. Game on.
in the next 10 minutes. And they've got to be players from the 1980s.
So
60.
glad you weren't like Mike Gillett and a teacher.
Tom Taylor is averaging 98 after 3 legs here. Tommy
140.
is obviously very happy. He's through to Saturday. Just doesn't
59.
have the capabilities to take care of Dom Taylor at the minute. He wasn't able to do it on Thursday night either because that's when Taylor averaged 107.1. And he's gunning for that kind of performance again. Another 180 there for Dom, and he ran for that third dart because it was cascading its
87.
way to the floor if he didn't grab it soon. 4 out of 7 on the doubles and a 130 checkout in that performance. And maybe it's a good thing for the rest of the field that he's run out of matches tonight because he's not missing a trick here.
140.
This game could be over in less than 8.5 minutes.
Dominic
2 more
R41.
darts needed. I don't know what Tommy Morris has done to him, but might just win with 107 average again.
25.
Maybe a little bit less.
$41. Dominic R16.
Double 8, or the equivalent of 16 points with 1, 2, or 3 darts. And it is to win the group. Win 4-0. And Bolton will not catch you. He will not be caught.
Dom Taylor.
He didn't win in Group A, but what a celebration that is. It is Dom Taylor who has won this group. He's played some stunning stuff, and that might just be the celebration of the week. A little bit of choreography between Taylor and Morris, who are both going to Saturday night. And we've got one more game for you with Andy Bolton against Scott Marsh after this.
This is it then, the final throws of the group stages of week 2 of Modus Super Series 6, and we know the 6 in the lineup for Saturday. Andy Bolton will be there. He's just looking to pick up his 7th win from 8 in this group, a group dominated by himself and Dom Taylor. As for Scott Marsh, well, it's an opportunity for him just to lift himself off the foot of the table if he can pull off a surprise victory here. And guiding you through game 10 of tonight's 10, it's back to Paul and Chris.
Thanks, Murph. What an end to game number 9. A real illustration moment from two very vibrant players.
Game on.
And I suppose the only way to even try and top that is if we have the end of this match and we have Scott Marsh and Andy Bolton facing the camera and both doing the X Factor sign.
59.
So, one more game. Andy looking to finish on 14 points, just like Dom Taylor, but he's not going to win the group. He's going to have to settle for second spot, which looks like Taylor and Bolton will be in different groups over the Saturday night campaign, but could still meet each other at some point.
Or could, either in the semi or the finals, right?
58.
A group from the 80s. Group A. Bristow, Lowe, Bobby George, Dave Whitcomb, Bob Anderson, Jockey Wilson. Group B. Cliff Lazarenko, Alan Evans,
134.
Paul Lim. Group C. Keith Deller, Stephen Lord, Mike Gregory. Got a nice mix in there.
That's lovely. You know this thing called AI?
Yeah.
Make it happen. We want to see what would happen.
Have you seen this boxing AI they've done there? They can, I don't know how they do it, obviously, but they get 2 fighters from 2 different eras, and the AI somehow makes them
30.
fight.
Where do I see this?
YouTube.
It's only a matter of time before we have AI darts matches between players from the 80s and players from the noughties.
Special mentions. There's so many players from the 80s, great players and characters, but I just sort of tried to quickly find a mix of nationality, paces, personalities. I couldn't put Eric and Alan Evans in the same
85.
group initially.
Absolute
carnage.
I
think one of the first names I would have put in Group C would have been Russell Stewart.
Yeah, he was in there, but it was
96. Scott O'Carr, 152.
Was in there. O'Day was initially in there as well from the 80s.
Yeah, that could be Rest of the World week.
Yeah. Yeah, Rest of the World.
A little bit of Nicky Verashkal as well.
From the 80s, exactly that. Rick Ney.
60.
Red
Andy
McMullen.
O'Carr, 60.
Magnus Karras, a player you've mentioned
Getting shot in the first
frequently
leg. Andy
this
Bolton.
week, of course.
Yeah, his birthday this week as well.
Tony Payne.
Second leg, Scott to throw first. Game on.
I think people forget, you know, just how big an impact North America and Australasia had in early 80s darts.
Oh, it was huge. Absolutely massive.
100.
He was a right stud, was Terry O'Day.
Yeah, he was a big 6 foot plus ex. Used to play the rules, is it? Aussie rules?
Anybody who plays Aussie rules is made of tough stuff.
He was a lovely man.
Got a nice piece of memorabilia for a Terry O'Day exhibition. I have a mint condition ticket.
Ooh.
I think it's from 1982.
Nice.
93.
Well, he lived in London for many years. He lived at Muswell Hill on the side of Ollie Cross house. A lot of the players would stay there. Rusher Stewart stayed there, of course.
I think Ollie, who celebrated his heavenly birthday yesterday, he definitely welcomed a lot of Aussies. He's very friendly with Simon Whitlock, of course.
Wayne Weening, another one, my
58.
pal. He was at the end of the 80s, wasn't he?
Did you know that yesterday was the anniversary of Simon Whitlock winning his first Oceanic Masters? And that gave him his first trip to the PDC World Championship at the Circus Tavern.
Wow.
He beat Brian Roach in the final. Good friend of mine. Played for Australia with Roachy.
Big Bert Vanderbroek.
180. Andy O'Carr,
Remember
170.
him? Big Bert. First real star from the Netherlands.
You know what? I think there's only one other person in Planet Darts history who could have said that just as good as you.
100. Scott
And that's
O'Carr,
Dave
70.
Lanning. Big Bert.
Big Bert. That was a big boy.
It's a big shot. Double 10. All around the board.
60.
Well,
Andy
I
O'Carr,
challenge you,
70.
Andy, to do it the same way. Single 10, tops 10s. Going to go 18s. He's going to go 16s.
54.
He's not going to go
Scott
2-0
O'Carr,
up.
10.
One particular year that's always memorable when we talk about Scottish players, of course, was 89 when Jockey went on to lift the title after a spirited fight back from Eric, who
No score. Andy O'Carr,
was
16.
getting mullered, but Jockey in the semi-final. On these old boards, man, let's not forget. Whilst
No score.
smoking and drinking copious
Scott
amounts
O'Carr,
of pints,
10.
he averaged 94.36 in the semi-final, 94.31. I mean, that's right up there.
Just,
Getting shot on the second leg. Scott
that's right
Marsh.
up into double 5 for 1-1.
And by comparison, when you look at these modern boards, you're looking at like 15%
So like Andy did
bigger
her
target
first.
area.
Game on.
I always say just put 10% on the averages from the 80s and you'll be somewhere near where they are today.
You're estimating that Jockey's averaged about 103 there.
84.
Actually, that 1989 final shirt, the white one, the Jockey shirt, if I could have any bit of memorabilia from darts history, I'd want that shirt.
Yeah, I wonder where that is. Someone's got it somewhere.
Someone's got it.
Yeah, maybe
Should
in
be
the
in a
bottom.
museum.
54.
Should
Yeah.
be in a museum, that.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe in a bottom drawer somewhere and they've forgotten about it.
$137.
Andy's confidence going into Saturday night, he'd love one more victory. But even if he does let this
59.
one slip, I think he's going to feel very, very good. His campaign in Group B has been littered with quality. Whereas in Group A, he was just a bit more up and down.
140.
Be very interested to see what Scott Marsh does at Lakeside. I will be tuning in to see what the challenge brings for him.
100.
Not unknown
Andy
territory,
O'Carr,
of course, because he did
140.
play there last year. Take a ton right now. Ton he
60.
does not get.
Have you worked out the groups for tomorrow?
I always like to leave that for the viewers at the end of the show. Always leave them wanting more.
60. Andy O'Carr, 80.
We always know that the winner of Group A is going to get game number 1 and game number 5.
60.
Is Victor Tingstrom.
But he's chomping at the bit to play.
Yeah,
Hope he's been preparing better than T-Bo
100.
did last
Andy
week.
O'Carr, 20.
We were very
Game
surprised
shot
to
on
see
the third leg.
T-Bo
Andy Bolton.
losing out in the group last week, and he somewhat self-admitted that he didn't prepare well enough.
Fourth leg Scott to throw
No, and
first. Game on.
The players are allowed to use the facilities here once the group is finished on a Thursday afternoon.
180.
Some of them have even gone to local league stuff and played in local competitions as a warm-up.
32.
Just because you play...
Luke Littler did, didn't he? Went on the Wednesday night. I think he found one on the Thursday night as well.
Hang about, Scott. What are you up to?
140.
5 perfect darts there. And on dart 6, he gave it the full scary spice.
42.
Really wanted a shot at a 9. Would have been a lovely way to finish the night.
57.
Leaving Andy Bolton in his dust here. I can't remember a leg that Andy's had like this all week.
If you love darts and you love the Super Series, please make sure you follow our socials. We are putting
96.
some
Scott the
wonderful
car,
stuff out there at the
124.
moment. At MSS Darts, all one word, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. Whenever you're tuning in, if you've got any questions or comments for the team in the box, whether it be myself and Nico or
84.
Murph and Glenn and Matt Edgar and Henry, Laura, Orin, the list goes on.
108.
Some of that.
Scott the car, 40.
Marsh for 2-2. Got to keep going right.
Getting shot on the
A
fourth
beautiful
leg.
shot.
Scott Marsh.
And on our social media feed on X, we've just released a little clip of the darts celebration
Flag
of the
Andy to
year
throw
between
first. Game on.
Dom Taylor and Tommy Morris. Worth a look.
Believe it or not, just seen that come up on Facebook. It's brilliant.
Absolutely
140.
brilliant, guys. I applaud you both. It goes to show that they are competitors against each other, but when the time is right, these guys can
140.
provide a little bit of serotonin for the soul.
Yeah. A bit of entertainment and put a smile on everyone's face.
If I was going to have a paintball team at the
98.
MODUS Super Series, I think Dom Taylor and Tommy Morris would be top of the list.
$60.
Couldn't quite dink it over the top. Yeah, it's just straight left.
Check. 55.
Get the feeling that maybe Andy is ready to get a bit of rest ahead of Saturday night challenge.
140.
Oh, it's been a long week, hasn't it?
It has. He's still
Fine.
averaging 92, but
5 consecutive days of darts, including 3 early mornings and then 2 late nights. Who knows how we feel?
85. Andy O'Carr, 123.
one of the parts of being a dart player is being okay with being mentally and physically tired,
Yeah,
still being able to do it.
I'm managing your time.
91.
There are lots of players who really struggle with sleeping long hours. When you play this late, you've got to be able to sleep in the afternoon to get yourself the ideal preparation.
108.
Lovely 180
Andy
there
O'Carr,
from Scott.
32.
That's his third of the contest.
Game shot on the fifth leg. Andy
However,
Bolton.
if he wants to get a win tonight, he's going to have to win the last 2 legs of this contest. Otherwise, he will leave Friday
6 legs,
night
Scott
and
to throw
Saturday
first.
morning
Game on.
pointless.
Despite the wonderful max, it didn't make Andy Bolton flicker.
95.
It was a 13 dart hold of throw, putting him in within 1. Will join Dom Taylor on 14
97.
points, but the superior leg advantage in favour of Dom Taylor.
$98.
Already had 1 max in the match.
99.
Scott Marsh, to his credit, He's had 3. Players having 8 darts at a double. Little to choose between them in terms of
41.
the average. Oh, that's a slip. Can Bolton punish? He's starting on the 18s. 140 no good to him, would have left
57.
165, of course, but couldn't punish.
$41. $140.
Andy Bolton, no closing in. Good resistance from Marsh. That's a great
100.
sum.
Andy O'Carr, 108.
108. Finish off his campaign in this really entertaining Group B.
$76. Scott O'Carr, 126. $26. Andy O'Carr, 32. Game, shot, and the match.
Andy Bolton finds the double 8 with his final dart to end the night with another win and another tidy average. What did we say at the top of the show? And Andy Bolton and 90 plus averages. Well, there's another one to add to the long list. 90.61, 84.41. So just to confirm, it is Victor, Dom, Andy, Scott, Jamie and Tommy who will make up our Week 2 finals night. Well, to find out in what order they were playing, which group they were playing, let's join Chris and Paul up on the balcony.
Thank you, Mace. Yeah, we'll make you wait for that at least a little longer. We'll run you through what's happened tonight. Here are the results from this evening's 10 matches. And Paul, I mean, the damage was done pretty early, wasn't it, from the key protagonists in the group?
Yeah, it was. A lot of great work done on the first night by the top 2 in Taylor and Andy Bolton. But I think there was potential for drama for the likes of Tommy Morris, for Mike Gillett and Scott Marsh. But it did just fade away towards the end as the results went the way of Tommy. And I think people just started to relax towards the end and just showed that the late night darts can be very hard when the adrenaline stops. But I think we've had a lot of fun with the group over the last couple of nights. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, we really have. Dom Taylor, though, didn't take his foot off the gas at all, did he? He'd been through since the first match of the night, playing against Tommy Morris in his last game, and he's doing things like this, 2-8, 3 and 6.
I think when you're playing as well as he is right now, you just don't take your foot off the pedal. You're enjoying playing so well. And he's been doing this pretty much since the end of Monday afternoon. When he put 5 out of 5 in, he was just wonderful from Tuesday. But then, have a bit of fun. Why not? That was one of the highlights of the week. I don't know when they came up with that, but that brought a smile to everybody watching, including myself and Chris.
Yeah, played in great spirit. Both players were, of course, through by that point. But yeah, Tommy's made that celebration his own. But I'll tell you what, this week, everybody seems to know where the cameras are.
Don't they just? And you've got to blame Schlichting for that, because he started this stuff. Maybe Johnny Clayton a little bit further back a couple of years ago when it was the year of the ferret in 2021. So people know where the cameras are, that's for sure.
It's kind of gone under the radar that Andy Bolton's won all of his matches tonight. And there's this little kind of battle between him and Dom Taylor during the week. Taylor did it yesterday, Bolton's done it tonight. This was the point he qualified and did it by beating Taylor. with a stunning performance, fantastic average of over 104 and a brilliant 136.
Yeah, don't underestimate Andy. He's got a great record on Saturday nights here. And he always seems to make the final in qualifying weeks, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him lifting a trophy at this point tomorrow, or indeed watching somebody else do it after a final. I just get the feeling that the strength and the consistency that he has and the engine he's got at the age of 50 is extraordinary. Saturday night's going to be great fun, and I think we're going to have 4 players in the finals who have got a legitimate shot at it, and 2, if they have a chance, they're going to have to lift their levels, and that's Scott Mitchell and Tommy Morris.
We'll come on to that, but let's just get the final confirmation of the table from tonight, Group B. Dom Taylor topping it on leg difference in the end. Andy Bolt, I mean, that's so dominant, is it, from 2 players, 14 points each. Tommy Morris sort of sneaking through, riding shotgun. Yeah,
I can't remember the last time I saw a Group B table looking like that, where you've got 2 players so far ahead. We have seen dominance from one player, maybe getting 16 or 14 points, and the rest of the points are shared out a bit more. But that is just the 2 Group A players coming into this and saying there's no way that we're not going to make Saturday night. And they were right.
Right, we have been teasing you, but now we're going to put you out of your misery. Here are the groups for finals night tomorrow. Group 1, the Group A winner, Victor Tingstrom, joined by Scott Mitchell and Andy Bolton. Group 2, Dom Taylor, Jamie Kelling and Tommy Morris. Mouth-watering lineup, Paul, but where do you see the winner coming from?
I can actually see a final happening between maybe Taylor and Bolton. I think Jamie Kelling has got a lot to say about this. I think having Morris and Mitchell separated, I think is probably a good thing for them. I think if they were to play in the group, they might get a little bit distracted by the fact that they're really close. So maybe they can just go their own separate ways on Saturday night and figure out their own missions. But I think if one of them was to make the semi-finals, that'd be a really good thing for Dorset Darts. But if both of them make it, then this place could be packed full of Dorset people, and someone might be lifting the trophy at the end of the night. But I do see the winner coming from either Kelling, from Bolton, or indeed from Taylor.
There we go, just half the field that Paul Nicholson's picking for finals night tomorrow. Who will join Willie Borland, though, in Champions Week? The second week finale is tomorrow from 7:30 live on the MODUS Super Series YouTube channel, then the semis and final from 10 p.m. live on Sporty Stuff TV. It's going to be a great night, and we hope to see you then.